people. Another episode of the Centre Circle podcast, episode 2-3 now. How's everyone doing?
All good.
Bad. Yeah, all good.
Cannot complain.
Good.
I'm back, feel refreshed, ready to talk.
All right, bro. We did
That's what we want.
I don't care, I'm telling you.
Man said he's back. I'm back.
I'm back.
Man's announcing the return. All right, cool. Anyway, you heard Isaac in the studio. I'm John.
Daz is back in the building.
Man like Keith.
We're back. This sofa, this is
Yeah, I know.
the heat's gonna come from the sofa. I'm telling you.
Energy
the
sofa.
kit man them are here as well.
Yeah.
Do it once a month. man.
What is that,
Rep
bro?
the team.
That kit is horrible, man.
Oh,
What are you talking about?
What year is that one?
This is our new one.
Slow down.
Oh, is that new? I thought it was old.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
throwback to 96.
96.
Oh, okay,
Like
yeah,
I'm
it reminds me of the,
mocking.
yeah.
Like I'm mocking,
Yeah,
bro.
that one.
Get out of it, man. This kit's nice, bro. Get out of it.
What was that, FA Cup final? That
Yeah.
kit,
Don't
yeah.
worry, I'll have mine next week.
Oh, okay.
I'll have mine next
I
week.
don't know that green and all of that there.
That's why, man. Third kit's coming next month. as well,
After
man.
all the
Don't worry.
kits you lot have had and you've been brandishing, nah, I don't know. But I think kit manufacturers are taking the mickey in general anyway.
Why?
Apart from the odd decent Arsenal one, in general, kits aren't. I don't think kits are fantastic at the
They're
moment.
too often as well.
Yeah,
bruv.
Which is why Brentford, their kit is staying for 2 seasons.
yeah,
So
good.
they're not releasing the kit.
That's how it used to
that's
be.
how- that's how it
It
used
used
to
to
be.
be.
remember.
It used to alternate. So
Yeah.
1 year they changed to home, 1 year changed to away. That's what it
Exactly.
should be. Yeah.
But it's all
Nah.
money, it's all money.
Yeah,
man.
it's all money spent
Now it's
now, innit?
3
That's
kits
all
a
it
season,
is.
3 new kits a
4
season.
kits in
Yeah.
some cases. Yes.
Bro.
Special
Crazy.
edition.
All 4 will change next season.
And these man don't play games. You can't even watch a little training video without the link to the shop at the bottom. Arsenal are the best for that. Oh, yeah, little training video. Oh, click here to buy everything they're wearing.
And there's
Oh,
training
please,
tops.
man.
No pre-game training tops. So we got an
The
away
warm-ups.
pre-game top and a home pre-game top.
I remember the
That's
first
mad.
one I bought was the when we had the Adidas as our sponsor. I think it was like 08, 09. That was the first training top I bought.
No, they still ain't got me with a training top
I've
still.
never bought one since.
I've done a training
No,
track.
I've had a few. I've had a couple. But Arsenal bring out these Arsenal Jamaica, Arsenal France. They go around the whole
and then
year.
they'll play. They won't even play a game in it.
Is
That's
that-
the Arsenal Jamaica one. They warmed up in it once.
Yeah.
They didn't even play a game in it.
They got you
No,
on
they
the
warmed
carnival.
up with Carnival. Yeah, no, Carnival weekend. They warmed up in it.
They culturally appropriated that weekend. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
they
they
did.
did.
They was bearing
They
it.
did. And kits now what? £80.
Oh, the prices are ridiculous.
I said to someone the other day, "What's that? £60?" They looked at me like, "Have you just come out of the bloody DeLorean? Like, what are you
I've-
doing?"
And
I've-
that's the fan version, right?
Yeah.
And then if you
Yeah.
get the
£100.
match day replica,
Yeah.
It's 110 or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
I bought my son a kit with a name on the back and it was £60.
But
What?
you got to think shorts now. £45 Arsenal shorts. Shorts.
No,
The
I
shorts
never
are
buy shorts,
£45.
though. No,
Yeah.
shorts
And
are shit.
Top
The
over.
shorts, the socks are £20. So you're looking at
No.
for the full kit. You're looking at about £125, £130.
They know people are going to pay it though, so
Listen, I'll be walking around in that full kit,
Bro,
yeah.
socks, shorts,
I'm rocking-
everything.
I'm rocking that to Rave on Friday. £45. They're hard.
yeah.
Crazy.
Nah, they're killing it. Poor parents. Anyway, the Premier's back as we said last week. Lots and lots happened this weekend. Yeah, let's get straight into it. Where do you lot want to start? Give me a game.
Let's start Friday. Just start on Friday.
Start at the beginning, yeah.
Friday?
Forest and Sheffield United.
Pasta Aboni.
That's your malo.
That's what we call it, bro. Pasta Aboni.
Yeah.
I didn't see this game. Did any of you guys watch it? Forest Sheffield United.
And funny enough, it wasn't on TV.
You know
Oh,
why?
yes. that was a
It was
story,
a Friday
yeah.
night, but it wasn't on TV.
Do you know why it wasn't on TV? Innit?
Why?
Because it was due to be on a Saturday 3 p.m. game, but because of everything else that was happening in and around Nottingham, so the cricket,
The cricket was playing.
and the other events, they basically said, look, there's too much going on. We don't have the setup to
And the
cope
policing, yeah.
with all of these fans. So the game got moved to Friday. So that's why it was, as it was planned as a 3 p.m. game,
Yeah.
there was no...
I find it interesting that when
Coverage.
someone else moves the game, Sky aren't ready. When Sky moved the game, everybody else is ready. Because that's a Friday night game. It should have been, that would have been...
No, but
televised.
because it
But
wasn't
it
an
was-
original TV pick. That's why
Yes.
they couldn't.
So
They
they
couldn't.
didn't, that
Yeah.
wasn't
show
part
it.
of the
Yeah.
agreement. So they couldn't just send the cameras down there.
TNT already had the Saturday game, which was meant to be 12:30, but they moved it to 8 because Man City played in Europe midweek. But Pep still weren't happy about the timing of that.
Yeah.
Which I kind of get, but we can come on to that.
What, he's saying that they should have played on Sunday?
Yeah, there was no reason for them not to play on
Like,
Sunday.
bruv. But they played on Wednesday.
Away, so they didn't get back till Thursday.
It was neutral.
Yeah, but normally, Champions League, you play Wednesday,
Yeah.
you play Saturday. If you play Thursday, you play Sunday.
Yeah, but in his defence,
What?
you know when the Super Cup final's being played, TV schedulers should be like, or even the Premier League should be like, you can play Sunday or even Monday. Like, why are the teams not competing in Europe playing?
Is it different to anything else we've done before for a Tuesday or Wednesday Champions League game?
No, but I'm saying, but you can take this in isolation because there's no other teams playing in Europe for you to chop and change with. There's only one team playing away in Europe. Why couldn't they have a?
Bruv, it's the third game of the season.
I'm just saying they could have helped the team out in it.
And with all due respect,
seen other leagues do it.
It's the European Community Shield, innit? Like, what
Stop that. Stop that.
This is not pure Champions League.
Anyway, Forest.
But anyway, yeah.
Forest, I saw a bit of it.
Mm.
Forest were pretty good. First home game, crowd up. You know what it's like there. It's a tight pitch, innit?
Yeah.
Stand very close to the ground. Yeah.
Thoughts on Elanga?
Pardon?
Thoughts on Elanga?
He didn't start.
Yeah, no, he didn't start, but he's okay. So when I say thoughts on Elanga, he wanted the move. Obviously, he wanted more game time. United weren't going to give it to him. He's gone to Forest in search of that game time. He came on in the first game as a sub and had an impact.
Yeah.
He's come on again as another sub and had an impact again. So, I mean...
Yeah, I think that's, as you said, you were a bit sceptical of how he performed this season. But he's kind of doing what needs to be done, come on as an impact sub in the first two games, show us what you can do. It's whether that can translate into a start now. I think that's the next step, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, he kind of has to... It has to be that for him, right? Otherwise, you can't keep coming off the bench.
But well,
it's more than what he did at United. Yeah, I mean, United
I think you can give him grace
best.
though, like because this would be his first. If he starts getting into the first team and continues to
Tommy Arse's just got sent off.
Get selected. I think you can give him a bit of grace and be like, this is his first season. Like,
yeah.
What kind of expectations are you putting on him, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. For me, it has to be a good... Coming from United, trying to make an impression there. All right, cool. Garnacho's ahead of it. It had a bigger impact. They've already got their players in the attacking positions. He kind of has to use this Nottingham Forest move as a stepping stone. He has to prove himself.
I think when you go to a team like Forest, they stayed up last season, etc. Anyone coming in, there's going to be some loyalty element as well. Maybe he didn't play that much last season, so there's almost a thing of, we're doing as much for you as you're doing for us coming from Man United. You got to prove yourself.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's any element of that, or maybe he came and he wasn't as impressive as they thought. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that was super heroic last year. So you've all earned, first couple of games, you've all earned your place. And I think if he had been playing at United or had more of an impact, I mean, to be honest, he wouldn't be there. But maybe there's an element of that. But yeah, that impact he had then, he seems to have covered himself in glory. I mean, Forest, 2 games in, 1 win already. I mean,
it's not bad, is it?
It's not a bad start at all.
If they could get a few wins before Christmas, they might,
Yeah.
they might give themselves a better start. And by all accounts, very good coach. Knows what he's doing. So hopefully he's just settled down the squad now. A few people have left. They've not signed another squad this season. Sheffield United. I mean, Terrell said something last week that's stuck with me. He doesn't think any other promoted teams are going to stay.
I agree with him. And that was going to be my point.
And so far he's right.
I think they haven't brought in sufficient talent or ability in order to maintain their push. However, hold on. Actually, I do think Burnley will stay up. So I'll take that, but I'll walk that back slightly. I do think Burnley
and that's
will
what prompted the
I
convo.
think Everton is a shout to go down.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be down there with them guys.
Luton, Sheff and Everton. I think that would be my prediction for.
We want to come on to Everton because they did some funny transfer
relegation.
Yeah.
But
I still think it's a bit too soon though. Like I know no one looked great, but it's like so it's 2 games in, isn't it? Like a lot can change over 36 games.
Everton have brought in who?
No, I'm not disagreeing about Everton. I'm talking about the promoted team. I think for me, let's see at the end of the window, man. Because I'm always bemused as to if I was a promoted team, I haven't got a big budget,
we've got these clubs with so many youngsters, so many people pushing on the first team. I don't understand why some clubs don't make more of the loan system if they're not able to buy players at a certain quality.
Yeah, but you have to be able to. There has to be players for you to loan. Clubs also have to be willing to loan their players to you.
True, but there must be. I mean, I think we could probably write up now. If I had a whiteboard, we could probably write up 15 or so players on the verge who want Prem ball.
Yeah, but then I totally agree with you. But it's whether the club will play ball with you.
Yeah.
And then it's whether the player, regardless of whether he wants ball or not, will he come to your club?
Do you play the style of football? Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah,
okay, fair.
And it's the kind of players you want because let's say teams like in the Man City, Arsenal bracket, those players are on high wages. So even if you are going on loan, it's who's going to pay the wages for that player.
Exactly.
And then the teams lower down, so you're looking at like your Wolves maybe, they might have players who could go on loan to Sheffield United, Luton, but then they might be contending with them to go down. So do you want to give them a player?
Yeah, but a lot of these players go on loan in the Championship for that. The wages can't be that much of an issue. And a lot of the time they're willing to pay a little 50% or whatever. I think that's what they really tweak for me. I'm seeing certain players go into the Championship, but I'm looking at certain promoted teams like, mate, you could have done with him. But again,
would the Prem
factors.
team loan them to another Prem team?
There you go.
Is like you put them to the Championship and you might cover a bit of the wage. But if it's another Prem team, you're like, why am I covering the wage in your competition?
If you're Arsenal, City, these clubs they're not a threat to you. Sheffield United is not a threat to your title winning ambitions. This
Slightly is.
What, Sheffield United?
It slightly is. I've got to play you.
No, but he can't play for you.
We're not competing in terms of position, but I've got to play you. And I'm competing against City. And now if I'm strengthening your team in any way, you're now going to become an issue for me. Yes, we might put the clause in where he can't play against us.
Yeah.
But if he's been playing and another player in his position has been rested and then wants to come in and prove a point against us. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's many permutations as to why it's not viable and why clubs will just say no.
I find it interesting because we'll see some Prem clubs do Prem to Prem loans, some of them younger ones. I just think sometimes I see some of the teams in need and I'm just like, you missed a trick there. Now the other side I've heard of it, you don't want to end up with 5 or 6 loan men and then summer just evaporates. But like anything, you can have a blended strategy, right? It doesn't have to be one or the other. It has to be one or the other.
But yeah, just to wrap up Forest, I think they've done well, even though they got pegged back by Sheffield United to kind of get over the line. I know it was a late goal, but that just kind of shows a bit of resilience and being able to get a win. And ideally, first home game in the season against a promoted team, you want to get a win, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. You want to get a win against people that are going to be around you, right?
I was surprised that they let Sander Berger go to Burnley though.
Yeah.
That's
because he was one of their better players last year.
How much, sir?
Yeah, that's
it could have been. It could have been, you know, money you couldn't refuse, and the players like,
But
I want to go play for company. I want to go play that nice football.
Then who have they brought in? Because like he said, he was one of their better players. I wouldn't have let him go unless I've identified a replacement.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, yeah, I'll save judgment for the end of the window.
Yeah.
If you've ended the window, Terrell might be onto something. You might have to put a cheeky bet on that.
It's very rare though for all 3 teams to go down. I think it's only
True.
happened like once
Yeah,
before.
true.
So,
I think it'll be the 2 and Burnley. I mean, the 2 and Everton and Burnley's there.
yeah.
I think that's what will happen.
No
So-
chance for Luton?
They're the whipping
Love it,
boys.
love it.
They are getting whipped, bro.
Well,
let's talk about that game. Let's go to
What
that
game? They didn't play.
They didn't
They
play.
didn't play.
No, last week. Oh yeah, you already spoke about it.
Yeah.
You
You know what it is? Because
must have killed
I watched Match of the Day late.
Yeah.
Remember when I came in the group randomly and I was
I was like,
just like,
what
because
are
I
you
was
talking
watching
about,
Match of the Day. Nah, they're the
Yeah, but
whipping
they
boys.
played Brighton, didn't they? Didn't they play Brighton last week?
And did you see what happened?
Yeah, but
Yeah, but it's
Brighton done
Brighton.
that this week again. So
No, but did you see the goal that they gave away in penalty?
Yeah.
Well, there's Premier
Let's not
League-
rehash it. 'cause I
Premier
missed it,
League,
obviously,
Premier
but
League jitters.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, a bit of that.
whipping boys.
that
I reckon
there-
they might do worse than Derby did.
When
Let's
did Derby
see,
get
man.
like-
They've only played one game,
Bro,
man.
relax, man. Did Derby do like 9 points? Something stupid.
No, 17. I think
Single
it was
digit.
17. I think it's
No,
17
I'm
points.
sure it was
No,
worse
I
than
think it's
that.
about 17.
Was it 17?
15
Oh,
or
we'll
something
look
like
at
that.
it.
Yeah,
We'll look
something
at it.
like
It was a poor season.
It can't be
That
9
was
points.
a really-
Nah, I'm taking the piss. But record low points. Ooh, what was it? Oh, 70. No? Ooh, I might have been right, you know.
Was it 9?
No way.
11.
11.
That's
I'm
terrible.
sure it was 11.
That is terrible.
That is bad.
Yeah. 11 points. I wasn't that far off.
11 points.
That's crazy. I think Luton will do
11
worse than
points. 38
Worse
games.
than that. Nah, they got to beat it.
Nah, they got to get.
Who are they beating? I know. All right.
Sheffield
That's
United.
a very wild saying.
Sheffield
They can beat
United.
anyone. Anyone can beat anyone, right? But who are they realistically beating?
Sheffield United, Everton,
That's 6 points.
and
That's 6 points.
And then they got to get 5 draws.
8 draws.
They can get some draws.
Who are they drawing against?
11 points.
Sheffield United.
They got Chelsea on Friday night, you know?
That's
They got Chelsea Friday night.
They got Chelsea on Friday night.
Yeah, they got
What
Chelsea
a
Friday
game if you're
night.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
What a game.
We need a
At
bounce
Stamford
back.
Bridge.
Yeah, the bridge.
We need a bounce back.
Them man
Nil-nil.
are going to be taking selfies in the tunnel and that. Because they know they're not coming back. No, let me be respectful. All right, let's go to Liverpool Bournemouth.
Yes, please. Let's do.
First of see your cards this weekend. But anyway,
I think you're going to find that in a lot of games. I
Yeah,
think
with this
the
new
average
rule
has
now,
been
innit?
6 cards per game.
It's like every foul now, isn't it? It was a booking.
Foul,
Good.
descent, all of that.
Oh, a lot of ball kicking away and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a bit. But I want to get your take on some of that. But yeah, so 3-1 Bournemouth, goals from Diaz, Salah, and Jota. That's what you want to see on the
Front
score list.
three.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you want
that's
the front
the
whistle,
front three.
front three all
Front
contributing. Liverpool's number 6, McAllister, got a red card, which I think was a red personally. There's been lots
Yo,
of...
listen. Let's.
Lots
all right.
Wait,
Let's-
man.
No.
Wait,
The
let me
bus,
just finish
the
the
bus.
overview.
Yeah,
I
let's
can't
do-
let that bus
do
go.
the
I need to get
overview,
on
yeah.
it.
Let me
Do
just
the
finish the
overview.
overview.
We'll come to it. We're going
Let
to
me
come
finish
to
the
it.
overview.
Yeah.
I can't let that bus go. I need to.
So yeah, I saw the first goal, Diaz. You know, great improvisation. But obviously, you already 1-0 down at that point. What's going on? What happened?
Is what it is.
Very poor start. Like
Is what it
they
is.
scored, I think it was like the 2nd minute,
3rd minute.
or got disallowed. I think it was
No, can we
offside.
start from the beginning with the disallowed goal? That was before that.
Oh, I guess said that.
Wait, so there was a disallowed goal in the second
Yeah,
minute, then they
yeah.
scored again in
Yeah.
the third.
Yeah.
That's
Can
what I
we
said
talk
in the
about-
message in the group. That's what I said.
Do you think that should have been disallowed? What was the reasoning behind that disallowed?
It was
Because I know
offside.
not everyone could
Wasn't
tell.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was offside.
Yeah, it was
from what I
offside.
can remember. Yeah,
Offside.
it was rightly called offside.
Okay. No, but
Yeah,
didn't,
I
didn't,
mean,
no,
it
but didn't Trent
was
play
right-
the ball? I
rightly
thought
called
Trent
offside.
played. I thought,
Listen, it was offside, man. Relax.
VAR done their
And
job.
then, yeah, we just didn't switch on after that. It was like pretty much their next counter attack. They scored, the ball broke in the box. They scored, and literally for the first 10 or 15 minutes, it was a little bit reminiscent of periods of last season where it was just a little bit disjointed, wasn't really flowing. But after that, watching the game, you know, when you can watch a football game, you're like, the team that's behind is not going to lose this game.
Yeah.
It turned into one of those, like it was chance after chance after chance.
So the
et
process
cetera.
just came through.
Yeah. Diaz scored. Like I say, very good improvisation. Then we get the penalty. We discussed it earlier. Pretty soft. Dominic going down in the box. But you take it.
That was
you
a
know what I mean?
Gerrard special. That was
Really?
that dive. It was a Gerrard special.
Salah took the penalty, missed it,
Yeah.
got the rebound. I think he should be taking off penalties now because he's missed 3 out of his last 4. There's a lot of contention about.
but what's his overall penalty record though?
I don't care.
Yeah, that
I
doesn't
think-
matter.
You can
You're
score.
only as good
that-
as-
Fair response.
You're only as good as your most
Yeah.
recent
Yeah.
form.
Yeah.
To
And
be
like,
fair.
if you're missing 3 out of 4, even if you scored 18 before that, you've missed 3 out of 4. innit?
Yeah. And
So
you've
I
got
think it's a
Sobol there, who's
conversation.
a good
Yeah.
penalty.
Yeah,
taker.
he never looks like the greatest penalty taker. He always kind of just looks like he goes up and hits it, and
Smash
No, but
9
he
times
was
out of 10
like-
it goes
Smashing
in.
it. Just
Yeah.
You know what?
smashing it.
Even in general, even the way he approaches shots, it just doesn't look like anything mad's gonna happen. And then
Yeah.
you're like, raw, what happened there? So I think he just got a very laid back type of attitude.
Who would
to
you
it.
suggest that goes on penalties now then?
Dominic Szoboszlai.
Oh,
So is that
he a
another
penalty
thing in his
taker?
locker? Set piece.
Yeah, he was,
Yeah,
a, penalty,
yeah,
he was
yeah.
a penalty taker.
Because I know you had
Leipzig, no?
James Milner was a very good penalty taker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, Sobol. And the thing with Sobol, they know he goes the same way every single time.
But they can't.
Can't stop it.
They can't stop
I was
it.
gonna
Keep
say
us
maybe
right.
McAllister or something, but fair enough.
And then, Jota. Oh, sorry, the red card happens.
Yes.
I know you're saying
Let's
should
can
be
you
a red.
could-
I think you
please
should explain
unpack that. Let's
There's
unpack
nothing
that.
to unpack. Bruv, I saw it in real time. I saw the slow-mo and I was like, no, that's a pen, bruv. Like, you've gone in full stud
How's it
showing.
a penny? Was that
It's a red,
Sorry,
Yeah.
it's a red. Sorry, it's a red. It's a red. It's you lot in it. I'm always amped. And it's one of those ones where I'm not surprised that the ref gave it, right? And then also for VAR to overturn that, it has to be
Can they overturn the ref decision?
if it was a clear and obvious error.
Yeah, if it's
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And that's not a clear and obvious error. That's a difference of opinion. Like he could justify that. Do you know what I mean? Now people are saying, "Oh, they've both gone for the ball. He's just a little bit late." For me, none of that matters.
So, do you think what happened to Gakpo was a red card also?
What, the kick in his chest? Yes.
And I think that's why we've appealed it, because there's been instances
Yeah.
where
They should have both been reds. Yeah.
but I think
That's more of a red.
yeah. But that's the inconsistency
Just checking.
among
Just
the refs,
checking.
innit? And I think that's why we put an appeal in today. And I think it might get overturned just based on
I think it will.
the inconsistency.
So they can't.
It was
What?
soft, man.
That's what
Even
are the
didn't
options?
Howard Webb come out and say that it wasn't? He didn't think it was a red.
Oh, did he?
I can't remember.
Or someone,
I ain't seen
one
that
of
one.
the
I don't think
officials
he
or
would do that.
Yeah,
they've come
that
out,
still.
they've come out.
No, he will come out and say if the decision should have been given. But if the decision been given, he's not going to come out and say,
Especially
I'm
before
sure they've
the
come out and
appeals
said
been
that
put in and
before.
stuff like that,
yeah,
so
yeah.
prejudicial
Nah, I think
position.
he's wishing. Daz, on this appeal process, can they say, oh, it's not a 3-game ban, it's a 1-game ban, or is it just overturn the red card or not?
Yeah, I think they have jurisdiction to actually take down the ban
Okay,
or to take away the ban.
Yeah, I think it's going to get reduced to 1-game ban. Unless they
To be fair,
totally agree that it was a mistake. But
Because it wasn't reckless.
bruv, people
Like
are
it
telling
was-
me that it wasn't even a yellow.
No, it was a
No,
yellow.
No, it was a
it was
yellow. It was
at-
yellow.
at
So you think it was yellow? You don't
I
think it was a red?
don't think it was a red. No, I think it was yellow.
Why wasn't it a red?
What
It
I would
wasn't
say,
reckless.
it was that
Let them.
he wasn't off. Yeah, he wasn't. I don't think he was out of control.
Fair.
I think the referee thought it was a red because it was one of the decisions where he was so close to it
Yeah.
and he's just turned around and it's happened straight away.
Yeah.
He's probably heard it as well.
And then see the foot like that.
Yeah, and saw that it was off the ground, but I don't think it was out of control and reckless. I think it was just more.
So
it
my
was
thing
more
about
just more lateness.
the studs being up, kind of going into his foot, that's not enough. It needs to be reckless
It needs
as
a bit
well.
more excessive force.
Okay, fine.
I don't think there was excessive force on it.
Okay. See me in my head. As soon as I see studs up like that, you've missed the ball, you've gone into a man's leg. I think red straight away. So that's fair. That's
okay,
fair. That's
but
fair.
let's say he's going to side foot the ball, right? He's stuck his leg.
And by the time he gets there, your leg's straight.
What
Yeah,
happens
no,
then?
the excessive force bit is true, but you see, just what I'm saying. Like I've seen these studs up, and I'm like, bro, you're gone. You're gone. But excessive force and not being in control, you can't say he did either of those things. But yeah, sometimes, the noise,
Yeah.
speed.
Yeah.
All right, but I
And
mean, then 4
yeah.
minutes later, you got score.
Yeah, so Endo comes on for his debut, and I was a bit nervous because, again, going back to last season, if we'd gone down to 10 men, even though we're winning, it could look a bit shaky. But
And it's 2-1. It's a dangerous score.
exactly. But
To use a football cliche.
we had 10 men, and we didn't kind of get nervous, which happened a lot last season. We just kind of carried on playing the way we were. We still created chances. Endo played all right for kind of signing the day before. And yeah, it was a solid win.
Just
to be
on that,
honest.
I noticed there was talk on Twitter saying that he looked slow and sluggish.
Oh, how many minutes did he play, bro?
I mean,
So he
there's
played
that.
half an hour on your debut with 10 men.
What league is he compared to the German league?
Yeah, the
Oh,
only
come on,
criticism
mate.
I
He
would
even said it himself. Like, in the big difference is they're faster,
Yep.
they're stronger, the tempo is much quicker.
Yeah. The only criticism I would say is that you see when players that played in foreign leagues come over and they get bumped, they go down, they think they might get a free kick.
Yeah.
When the referee's like that play on.
Yeah.
That happened a couple of times, which
Yes,
I think
he has to learn. Yeah,
he'll get
yeah.
used to
Xabi
that. He'll
Alonso.
get used to that, innit? Like, yeah.
Same thing happened with Xabi Alonso.
Against
And then it
Bolton.
took for him to get his
Yeah.
ankle broken,
And
for him to go, oh, I need to move quicker.
And I think he'll learn that quickly.
Yeah, and it would have been tough enough with 11 players. He's come into position with 10. People, anyway, that's Twitter place.
Oh, yeah, Jota scores, get the 3 points. Roll on Newcastle.
So, I guess now, you said this already. You said you lot got to get to the next game and have a DM, right? Or someone that can play the 6.
Yeah.
Whilst it's not optimal, but he'll have a week and a bit of training. He would have got that run out because either way he was coming on yesterday because next week, that next game can't be his first game.
Yeah.
Newcastle, no
So,
way.
does he start the next game?
100%.
100%. Especially if Max.
Start?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if
Oh,
Max.
oh,
is not-
I've asked a silly question, my
he's
man's
out,
banned,
yeah,
yeah.
if he's banned,
Yeah.
then yeah. But
Has
But I
to.
think
if
even if Mac
when
was
the
there,
red card gets overturned, then Mac can play.
Yeah.
I'll play
still starting.
Endo, Mac, and Sabozlai.
So who's getting dropped in that?
Gakpo.
or someone in the front four, essentially.
Okay.
That's a
Because
boy, you're here to earn your money.
where else is Gakpo going to go? He's not. Is he going to put him out right? Because Diaz is out on the left.
I'll play him at the 9, take Jota out.
What's going on with Nunes?
Oh, and then put Salah out wide.
He's been coming off the bench.
So he's not good enough to start. He's not.
Why are you looking? Look at his face.
I don't know, man. Like,
Keith tried it, bro. He tried to stop me at the pass with that answer. No, you know why I'm asking because
no, I understand.
it was a big forward signing.
But you also saw how he hadn't quite adapted to the league yet.
Yeah, and I actually, and I'm happy he's not playing, by the way. I actually thought have a season in, they'll calm some of the temperament, but not too much because that's what makes him good. He's a nuisance, and I thought he might be playing through the middle. And then Klopp's got a choice to make between Jota, Gakpo, etc. But he's been holding bench. Is there any particular reason, or is it just I
just think he's too raw.
Yeah.
So
personally,
he's actually last in the pecking order. Then he's behind
number 5.
Gakpo, Jota, everyone.
And now that Endo's here, that's going to be even worse because him and Gakpo are fighting for a space.
Mm-hmm.
That currently, it's a long season, lots of games during full comps. But I actually thought this season, get him starting. Through the middle, he would be a big problem. Like when he plays, he just causes havoc for us.
He might do. You never know. Innit? It's still early days.
Yeah, it's first couple of games.
Do you think if he was a little more accurate with his shooting, do you think he'd be on the pitch?
Yeah.
I know that's kind of an obvious question, but I mean,
he's kind of giving you glimpses,
with
innit?
the raw ability that he has.
Trying to be kind to
Yeah.
Do you think it was a little bit more accurate? Yes, bro.
Yeah.
With the raw style of play that he has.
Yeah, he's not.
But
fluid
even
enough.
if he was at least hitting the target a bit more.
So what's the aspirations for Liverpool this season? I don't know where I place them. Do I place them in the top 4 battle in a title race? Where are we putting Liverpool this season?
Ask me at the end of the window.
I think top 4 is our aim. You
fall out of top 4, you ultimately want to get back into top 4. I think that's got to be the minimum.
I think if you don't get Endo some backup, that's a tough ask.
He's got backup.
Top 4?
Who?
Bajcetic and Thiago.
You think top 4 the last for Liverpool?
If you can't get someone else that can regularly play there with Endo. So Thiago, we can't.
So someone more reliable.
Yeah. Because I don't even count Thiago. It sounds bad. But has he gone 3 months without being injured? 3 months straight.
Yeah.
So then you got the youngster to come back. Fair, you have. But it's a slightly different profile. Like when you look at Endo, you can understand why they've gone from the profile, right? Physically, etc., etc. So I think that might be a tough ask, but he could take to the league, like a duck to water. But he can get injured. You lot are going to play 65 games this season, right? You're going to get pretty far in most comps. Yeah. So top 4 has to be the aspirations, as I would say. They spent the money, they've got to get back there. Max, Somazai. Yeah.
And then we'll see what happens. Top 4 in the Europa League, I'll take that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Next. What was another interesting game?
Man United.
Spurs Man United.
Hey.
Boy, I'm not going to lie. I wanted to talk about Brighton Wolves. They're cooking already. But
it's times like these, I wish we had a United fan on the panel. I wish.
Bro, I'm in a
just
group
going to have to settle for cooking you.
I'm in a group with a Spurs fan and a United fan. And the trash talk before, United fan was just like, look, man, I know you will Madison, but we're going to be cooking at the lane. Blah, blah, blah. Big man, we couldn't find them for 3 hours after the game.
I predicted Spurs would win this.
Yeah, I thought they would.
It looked like a training game. Exhibition.
I wouldn't go that far.
Bruv.
I wouldn't. Man United weren't that bad.
For pockets of it,
First pockets of it, they were taking the mick.
Man.
They were taking the mick.
It was terrible.
Basuma and Son on the edge of the box. Just
Basuma looked like he was back at the Amex.
Yeah, Basuma.
That's what he looked like.
Basuma's had two very good games.
And Man United have 2 bad games because obviously last week didn't get to discuss the Wolves game, which was on Monday night, and they were terrible. They should have lost that.
I heard Cunha was
running through the whole midfield.
23 shots at Old Trafford from the away team. That's mental.
And that's Wolves.
What are we saying about that midfield?
What, Man United?
Listen,
I've been saying from even before he signed the paper, that what's his name?
Mason.
Mount. I don't get it. I don't get it. I never understood it.
What you never understood Man United by name, or you never understood the hype about him at Chelsea?
Both.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've never got seen it. When he first came on the scene, it was him and James around the same time. Have I made that up? Or was he before?
He was with Abraham and that when he was
At Derby,
He
innit?
was at Derby with Lampard,
Yeah.
and then he brought
Yeah.
them in
Yeah.
when they got the ban, when they got the
Yes.
transfer
Yeah.
ban.
And it became, and don't get me wrong, context is key. They had a transfer ban. You stepped up from Derby to Chelsea, done very well. Didn't they qualify for Champions League that season as well?
Yep.
It came
Came
full.
fourth,
So
yeah.
I can understand why you're getting plaudits as a youth team, but the way his stock rose to the point where Gareth was starting him every game in the
Gareth,
I mean,
England
the
team.
Gareth
Champions League,
liked
the
it,
Champions
yeah.
League win obviously has helped as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Him
that's true.
setting up the goal.
Yeah,
helps
true,
as well.
true.
But I
So I'm
think
not
if-
saying he's a rubbish player. I just never. I don't feel like the reality of him as a player, his output and what he showed us on the pitch matched the ratings and where his stock got to. I
And
never
if you
understood
look
it.
at what Man United look at their midfield. So you've got Casemiro, who's your DM, who's going to start regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Bruno's your captain, going to start regardless.
Another one.
And
I'm
if
not
you bring
happy
in
about.
Mount's not really a defensive player. I know you say that he's renowned for doing his off the ball work.
Who's the
etc.
box midfielder in
This
that?
is exactly what I'm going to say. Like he's not that guy. So you've already got Bruno being the attacking force, who's not really going to defend. You brought in Mount, who's more attacking than defense. That means you've got Casemiro alone
Doing the dog
doing
work.
the dog work.
But just to pick
So-
on that, and to your point, right? So not having a box-to-box midfielder is fine, right? If you're gonna set up, well, no, if you're gonna set up a certain way, like Ten Hag knows that, right? Like, who am I with my UEFA no badge, right? He knows that. However, when Bruno is meant to be your attacking player, and how can I put this nicely? And he's a bit wasteful, yeah. He's a little bit wasteful. His decision making is not the best in my opinion. You can see he's got lots of technical ability and all that, but you see Bruno, he spends more time arguing with the grass and gesticulating and telling everybody else what they are not doing than actually having consistent, effective output. That's the issue. That's one of the issues there. Then now we've got Mount, who everyone said his attributes off the ball are what Ten Hag wanted. So what about his attributes with the ball? You're Man United. You're going to have the ball more than most teams you play. So why are we not talking about why they put Mount
He had
for
less
his on the ball
passes
attributes?
than Onana.
But that's the thing, though. They don't have the ball. They're not playing from position.
But I think the plan was to
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
Because he's
Against
meant
the
to
lower
be high
teams.
pressing, win the ball back early. He's meant to be all of that, no?
Okay, but then you do get the ball. You need an adequate midfield in order to, like that said, maintain, recycle, and also use the ball, right? So
And how much did they pay for Mount? 60?
yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see it, and I think I hear what you're saying about not using a box to box midfielder. And,
No,
and
but
then
they could do with one.
having a set team, but I think that team
Yeah.
needs one.
So they could do with one. I guess the point I'm trying to make is if the pieces he's put in there did the jobs to the level he expected, they wouldn't miss that specific role. Does that make sense?
I hear you, but
I think it's still
it's
too
too
much
big.
for Casemiro
Yeah.
to do.
it's still
Even
too
if Bruno
much.
was doing the job he's supposed to do both ways and Mount was doing the job he's supposed to be doing both ways.
But then you're
you see what I'm saying?
trying to get Bruno to do something that he's not done since he's been there because he's always had.
Oh, no,
Double
I
protection.
agree. I agree with you.
No,
I
but
agree with you.
I think Bruno's playing the wrong position. Bruno should be playing number 10, but he's got him playing a number 8.
I agree.
And that's
agree.
why
I agree.
you're asking Bruno to do
Agree.
something that he
at
doesn't
Bruno,
want to do.
Look when Bruno and
If
Pogba.
Bruno needs to play-
Look at Bruno and Pogba.
If Bruno needs
Yeah.
to play
Do you
number
remember
10,
It was quality.
you're
It
in
was
problems.
quality.
How many goals was he scoring?
But from a talent perspective, Bruno is the best player in their squad.
Talent, what? Sorry?
From a talent perspective, not performance, but from talent.
Might not be wrong there, you know.
Technically speaking, I agree. I'd have to agree with you.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I had to take a step back.
Yeah,
for a second,
but he's
yeah,
not
alright.
the position that he's been asked to play as a number 8 with Mount on the other side. Them two are just both going up, leaving Casemiro by himself. The whole midfield's open. Well, he's going to change it.
Assuming
though.
that man were just triangles, bing, 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 bing,
Yeah.
bing. Having
And it's
a way.
interesting that like last season they brought in Ericsson. I know they had Fred and McTominay
Mm.
to kind of have that protection, but
Yeah.
Fred's gone now. McTominay's not playing, so they haven't even really tried to address that box to box. Essentially,
I think McTominay comes in next game.
Yeah, I think he will.
Yeah, I think
I
he comes
think
back
so.
soon.
But then
McTominay,
you have to
Bruno,
drop
and-
Mount. No, you have to drop.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, man.
And that's just
And-
£60 million investment.
If you look at who they were playing, if they wanted that kind of player, he could have got Maddison for half the price of Mount.
Well, and let's give them the same benefit that we're giving other people. It's been 2 games, right? Preseason is preseason, but when the other teams come with their ideas, you still have to adapt
Yeah.
and figure out how you're going to work that. So, and I feel like we've been here with Man United a little bit before. And then they went on a little run and they were creeping up. So let's see. I might be wrong about Mount, but I don't get it. And then it takes me back, Isaac, I'm not going to lie. It takes me back a little bit because how much was Bellingham?
105
Yeah.
Euros or pounds?
euros.
Yeah.
So if we look at some of the purchases they've made in the last few years, I think that's the kind of purchase where you, to your point, you stick your neck out, you make that the linchpin of like turning this team around. Because Real Madrid didn't need him. Like everyone, but they didn't need Bellingham.
Yeah.
He's been a fantastic addition to their team, but everyone
They
else
didn't
needed him
need
more than Man.
Yeah, they didn't.
Real Madrid did.
They didn't.
You know, and I'm just, you spent 60 a month. But if you spent 80 million on Anthony, and maybe that's one of the reasons why you couldn't go there and spend another 105, or it would have been just under 100 million on Bellingham. But you start to almost see downstream impacts of some of your earlier transfer strategy now. Like, since Ten Hag has been there, I saw a stat today, not fact-checked it, but he's already matched the net spend or exceeded the net spend of Klopp, and he's been there 2 seasons.
Yeah, he has.
That's bonkers. And we can't blame all the previous regime because Anthony, he wanted, right? They spent decent money on Onana, which I think the jury is still out a little bit.
Yeah. Martinez cost a
I think
fair
he
bit.
started well.
Martinez.
I think the goalie started well.
Yeah,
Well,
apart from the
but
penalty.
in
All right,
terms
yeah.
of that.
Penalty that wasn't. So yeah, I think the lights are on him a little bit. I think the lights are on him a little bit. But it's two games in. Spurs.
Personally, just before we move on to Spurs, personally, right, I know we're bantering and being facetious, but you have to understand who you're playing against.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I just don't think realistically we step back and just be objective. That midfield just wasn't the midfield to take on Spurs, who have Bissouma, they have Musa, they have all these capable
And high energy
ball playing midfielders. And then you walk into White Hart Lane with Mount Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro. Like,
Do you think
was
he's-
feeling yourself, serious?
To that point, Isaac, do you think he's like you kind of get to a point where you earn the Klopp and Guardiola, and now Arteta's trying to do the same thing where I don't care who I'm playing my way. I think that's what Ten Hag is on at the moment. But you have
There's
to earn
pros
that.
and cons.
Yeah, you have to
there's
earn
pros
that.
and
You have
cons
to earn that. And we went through those growing pains of trying that and then getting bullied off the park
And then
or
realizing,
whatever
no,
else.
I have to play my way but be adaptable.
Yeah. So and then back to your point of you need the right player to do that. The one person we didn't touch on who has been getting a lot of heat is Rashford and his performance or lack thereof.
I don't think it's his fault.
totally out of position.
Yep.
Totally out of position. No service. What's he gonna do?
Well,
Fully agree.
to that, what I saw wasn't about him making runs and not getting the ball. It was about when he did have the ball, what he was or wasn't doing. But I think it's another situation where he played through the middle, didn't work out.
But he's been vocal about not wanting to.
No, I agree. But again, who did you? Where's your striker?
But there was a stat. I don't know. Not a stat. There was a tweet that came out the other day where it was like, so what? You got to look at players that have played beforehand. Ronaldo played left wing, done a job striker, done a job right wing. Done
Didn't
a
Rooney
job.
play left wing
Rooney
for a
played
season?
everywhere.
Yeah,
done a
but
job.
they're-
No,
But they got
quality,
different.
yeah.
Quality, they got different qualities to
come on.
Rashford.
No, all right.
But it's
Regardless
more
of
pertaining to
regardless,
the attitude. Yeah.
exactly, it's
Yeah.
pertaining to the attitude of
Yeah.
if your manager's putting you there, do your job.
And I hate the body language police here, but there did seem a frustration, an element of what's the word? He just didn't seem happy with maybe he was happy with his performance. I don't know.
So
But-
I would
job,
I would
man.
back you up there if
Do your job,
the
man.
2 games that I've played, so going forward, if Garnacho had performed to the levels he had last season in these 2 games, I could say, well, Garnacho's doing quite well out on the left, so we're not really missing you there.
Yeah.
That's why you're up front. But
Yeah.
he's not playing well up front. Garnacho is not playing well on the
It
left.
doesn't
Exactly.
matter,
Anthony
man.
is
It doesn't matter.
Terrible
Oh,
on the right.
Oh, awful.
Like, so I think
But
it's
I
time
saw a tweet
to
from
chop
a
and change.
United fan that saying, why are you messing up Rashford and Bruno with these other players when
Yes.
they're your best
They're not
players?
performing.
You might as well get them performing and try and fit other
And
players
put them where
around
they
it.
should be,
Yeah,
and then
and-
fit everything.
yeah.
Even though I don't think Bruno's a 10, makes me feel sick. But you put them where they need to be and then you do everything around them. That's for challenge.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's talk about
Spurs.
Ange
Postecoglou.
Ball.
Oi.
Ange Ball.
Oi.
Listen,
He's doing it.
As
He's
a
doing
Arsenal
it.
fan,
Who was it that said they would suffer without Kane? Who was it that was
No, it's
pushing
me.
that?
Yeah, it's me. What,
Look at
two games in?
Look at you.
No.
2 games in.
listen, as an Arsenal fan,
2 games in.
Nah, bro.
Postecoglou,
They look
allow
so
it.
much better without him. They look so much better.
They look-
I think it's because
They
of
don't look
Kane.
so
I
much
think it's
better.
because of the manager. It's because of the
Yeah.
manager, not Kane.
Imagine if they did this and had Kane.
Yeah,
It'd
they'll be
it'd
great.
mad. Yeah. But even just small things, I'm gonna sound like I'm part of I've been ghostwriting for Souness, but like the energy, the way they were recovering the ball, they're looking forward. I can see why certain people are not getting a look in. Like Hoiberg not getting a look in.
He's not good enough.
No.
It's just different. They've got some bits to figure out because like earlier on, Son doesn't seem like the service was getting to him the way they would like. But they figured it out, man. They figured it out. Basuma.
Richarlison, they need a striker though. Yeah, they do need a because he ain't.
But he's the profile of striker that suits Ange Ball and
Yeah, and he
Postecoglou's
works
football.
hard and is a nuisance.
Because if you look at Celtic last season, right? High energy, Jota out on the white, Maida, Dyson Maida, Furuhashi, like that front three was very interchangeable, right? And it was high energy ball. It was out wide, get it in, or do you understand? So, having the reason why I feel like they look better without Kane is because I feel Kane would have slowed them down. Don't get me wrong. I'm not denying his ability. I'm not denying his position as an elite striker. But I just think he would have slowed them down in that position. I think they need a striker that's more mobile, like Richarlison. But yeah, you're right. They do need to know. They need a striker that's not goal shy.
I think this would have worked with Kane, but I think Kane would have to have played different. I think he would have to be more up front instead of coming back into midfield, trying to do everything, create the goals. I think if he became the finisher, this would be.
And then you look at the lineup.
I might be wrong.
You could have lined up new keeper. 3 of the back 4 weren't regulars before. Even the midfield, Basuma's playing regularly. You got Sarr playing regularly.
PMP in that boy.
Bruv, listen.
With Maddison doing all the fancy stuff. Like,
good.
Wow.
He looked
Maddison.
40
Good.
million.
If you got that protection behind you, you could ball out.
Him and Son, I think him and Son is going to be the new connection this season.
We should have bought him, man.
I'm not sure about Son. I'm not sure about Son.
Why not?
Yeah.
Just let him cook, man. You'll see.
He had a really bad season last year. And I don't know.
But I think that was
He's had more good seasons than bad seasons.
I would like to see him. Well, this is the time to see him without Kane.
Yeah.
I think he relied on Kane a lot more than Kane relied on him. So we'll see.
And is he captain now?
Yeah.
So let's see how he does, man.
Yeah. No, it was interesting to see. I think, let's see when they face one of the big teams. Let's see how that holds up. Let's see how Postecoglou's new tactics in the team hold up to that. I think Maddison and
Are we saying United ain't one of the big teams?
No, not right now. Yeah, not right now. All right. One of the teams that is has carried on their form. Let's put it that way.
Brighton.
Because they've not started. Yeah. When Spurs play a Brighton, play Liverpool in a few weeks.
They're balling out.
Liverpool, when they play City, Arsenal, Villa, when they get those teams, okay, people that are cooking at the same level as you, then let's see. But it's a good start. Good start. And oh man, I wasn't looking forward to them getting good. Long, bruv. All right. Brighton Wolves. They literally just got back in the car and hit the same game.
and my Tom.
Oh,
that connection.
That side is just ridiculous.
Stupid.
It's dumb.
What?
It's just
I haven't
crazy.
seen a connection like that since Ronaldo and Marcelo.
I think
I'm not talking ability-wise, but I mean just the understanding between the two of them is just...
I think they sold Cucurella for what, 55 million?
60
million.
Now
and
he's
then
sitting on
brought
the bench in Chelsea.
Estepinian for 17. So it's like the conveyor belt. Right?
Any
You can take our player that we paid 5 million
We got someone
for,
else. We got
for
someone else.
60 million, and then Estepinian's come in.
Any of you that want to do any masters in business, whatever, but forget it. Just go and study Brighton and
how much
and
money have Chelsea given
board
them? 250 million
200 plus
in the last year.
What about the rest of us?
Yeah.
Ben White, this, that, bruv.
Us.
Yeah, you lot, bruv. The rest of the Premier League has donated kindly.
to the
Church
business
of Brighton
model.
and the whole Abbey. Yeah, kindly.
And they're top of the league, and everyone else has taken their players.
How does that work?
Yes. They got Danny Welbeck up top, and they're scoring four. They're scoring four again.
Danny Mensah.
Welbeck up
And he's
top.
still not scoring.
The thing is, like, there was no new signings in their midfield. It was like they brought in
They
Gross,
lost McAllister.
March played,
Yeah, he's banging
and
goals.
Ciso played.
How old is this? Like
he's
19 or 20
quality.
something?
He's quality.
Yeah,
He's a
he's
good player.
Yeah, so it's just like all the players that were there last season that kind of brought in to what De Zerbi's thinking.
And then
They just carried it on.
João Pedro comes off the bench.
Yeah.
Like Ferguson comes off the bench. Lallana comes up with a bit of experience.
Milner.
Yeah,
Who's at
Gilmore.
the back?
Milner.
Milner was coming on as well.
Milner started,
He
mate.
started right back.
Yeah.
Who's centre backs with
Dunk and
Dunk
Webster.
Webster.
Dunk and Webster.
Oh, they're both
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, it's
It's pretty much the same team. Or they're utilising the same squad as last season, and they're just playing well, man.
And
I was a
come
bit
January-
surprised.
Come
at the
January,
result.
they'll bring in
Yeah.
some 3 unknown players, and no one will bat. No, this time no one will say anything. They'll just say, "All right, let's just see how." see how they
that
slot in."
database is
Yeah.
crazy.
Based on how Wolves played against United, I was surprised at this
Yeah.
result.
Do you think Europe might have effect on them though? Because the squad ain't the biggest. So when Europa League
Yeah.
starts,
Good shout.
would
good
that
shout.
have effect on them?
Yeah, I think it will
Yeah.
do. But
I think usually, sometimes with the teams who progress to Europe, you got a couple of things. Depending on their manager, it's new tactically. I don't think they got that issue with their manager. He's managed in Europe. He's got lots of experience. But you're right, the squad, they got the squad depth. And that's probably the rationale behind signing João Pedro's, rotating through that Ferguson's and stuff. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a test. I think it's definitely gonna be a test. But
You look
Once
at their
once
bench.
them injuries start hitting,
yeah,
and they will.
Yeah, they will,
Yeah.
man. They will.
doing amount of games.
They will. FA Cup, all of that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
travel
That Thursday, Sunday business, isn't it?
long, bruv. So I don't know why it's worse than Wednesday, Saturday, but it just,
Yeah.
it just is.
Yeah,
It just
mentally
is.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mentally it is.
And then Wolves, another red card. I don't remember the red card in this game.
Yeah, the guy got petulant, so he got booked.
Oh,
And he was down the
that was
byline and he
ridiculous.
pushed the two players.
that was ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
understand.
I think it was
That was
Estepinian was
just-
coming in just to
yeah,
kind of
that
help
was
his own
just-
player up, and then he went, "What?"
He was just
And pushed
angry.
him.
Yeah,
he-
he was just
yeah,
angry, man.
yeah.
He lost his head.
And then he got angry with himself.
Yeah. But they did create chances though. So
Yeah.
I think
You think Gary O'Neill got them
can be
playing?
happy that they're creating chances. They just need to.
They're another
Put
team
them
though.
away.
Could they be down there? They can't score for us.
Well, this is the thing. I think I've listened to some opinion on them, and they said, if anything, for their situation, they probably got the right manager because he showed up at Bournemouth. He just come in, he'll work with what he's got. Pretty good team, but you're right. Are they going to score enough goals? But again, we've got a couple of weeks left of the window. They need to get someone in. They need to try and get someone who can contribute in that way because that's their big problem. There's no point in playing well. You haven't got people who can take the chances.
True.
So yeah, Brighton march on. Right.
A nice little pun there.
Yeah.
It would have been good if I meant it. Brentford 3, Fulham 0. I mean, your main talisman gets banned for a few months, so we'll come on to that a little bit later. But who cares? You just
I knew. Do you know what? Why I'm not surprised though? Because they were cooking last season anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
Wissa,
Them two
Mbeumo.
up top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Them two
Mbeumo.
up top
They were
are a
cooking
problem.
alongside Tony.
Yeah.
It's just Tony was just bagging more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm not
Mbeumo and
surprised.
Wissa, they're proper.
I'm not
They
surprised.
are
at all.
proper.
Yeah. And
3-0,
card.
another red card.
Yeah.
Tim Ream.
It was a second yellow, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just again another team that's come in, hit the ground running. As it stands, they're fourth. I know it's only 2 games in, but again, they're banking their points early. You know, and that's what you can do. Bank your points early.
Build
When teams
momentum.
when the team's getting their stride or they start getting injuries, etc., you've built yourself a bit of credit in the bank. They've got Europe as well this season as well, haven't they?
Brentford?
Yeah.
No.
No, they haven't.
No,
Okay.
they missed out.
So that's gonna be maybe that's
Tony
them and
back
Brighton.
in January.
Yeah, them and Brighton. Yeah, you can start training from September the 17th, I think.
Yeah.
September the 11th or something. So 3 months of training for him. Did anyone see this game? I didn't see this game.
I saw
No.
the highlights,
Yeah,
but
just the
Fulham, another team that could struggle. Mitrovic is gone. He scores the majority of their goals.
Yeah, they'll buy some with that money.
But they got Jimenez.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Jimenez has scored 0
when was the last time he scored?
That was
Who was the last time
for me.
he
That
scored?
was
5 million.
signing. That
For
was
for 5 million.
Well,
That's not
but
adequate.
he's
It's
a
not
starter.
adequate
What,
cover.
he's gonna for Mitrovic.
they must be buying someone else.
That's a
I
big
refuse
loss.
to
I don't
believe
think they
they're
are.
gonna pocket. I think they got 50 million for him or something.
Mitrovic is a bigger loss than Harry Kane.
Because he scores probably
30 goals.
He probably scores 60,
No, but that
70% of their goals.
That 30 goals is the equivalent of scoring 15 goals for Fulham in the Prem. That's the point. That's the point. They have to buy someone.
But they beat Everton away, so I think they'll be safe.
Yeah,
I think they'll nick points.
So I
Like
think
they
if
did
you're
last season.
saying, are they going to do what they did last season? I agree with you. That's
Yeah.
going to have to repeat. But
I'm
I don't
not
think
gonna say
they're
they got
going down.
relegated, but I think they'll be bottom half.
And just to back that point up, they had Jimenez on for how long? And then Mitrovic comes on, bang, goal.
Yeah.
And not obviously not the game, but the game before that.
Mm.
And I know it's early. Everyone would say, yes, it's early in
No,
the
but you
season.
can still.
It takes time to cook, but it's just the point. The point is that Mitrovic is a bigger loss to Fulham than Kane is to Spurs.
You look at their bench. Yeah, Carlos Vinicius is still getting.
Bro,
Come on, they ain't gonna do nothing.
They're still investing time into him.
Yeah, William was on the bench. They bought Adama Traore. So I'm not gonna lie, that Jimenez and Adama Traore signings. Don't understand what you're not doing.
Why
And
they
Wolves
expect
scored no goals last season. So
Why they expected him to bring that? Bring that magic over here.
I wonder if George Mendes is involved in Fulham in any way. Anyway,
yeah, 100%.
yeah, Brentford march on. We'll come on to their suspended players interview in a second. City Newcastle wasn't a fantastic game, to be honest.
No, quite surprised.
Good finish though from Alvarez. That was
Very good.
very good. It was a nice differential for me in fantasy football. Can't lie.
I thought the goalie could have done better with that, to be fair. When he hit it, I didn't think it was going. I didn't think it would go in.
Brother, it was a rocket from inside the box.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Look, as soon as it left his foot,
Yeah, hold it. Yeah. That's
I want my
tough.
keeper saved that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But what I would say, the 2 games that Man City have played, they've given up a lot of chances, more than I have
Yeah.
expected a Man City team. So I don't know how that's going to play out over the season, but they are giving up a lot of chances.
Yeah, and they're warming up. You know what City are like? They start slow, but yeah.
So what of the Phil Foden to the 10 position?
That's where he plays.
about-
Baller.
It's
Like, we
outstanding.
said
It's
it.
about
It's
We said it.
outstanding.
Okay, so we're in agreement to that, but then what about the problem that it poses now? Because KDB's going to be out for how long? What, 3-4 months?
Yep.
January.
4 months minimum. Foden comes in, slots into that position, makes it his, performs really well. What happens then?
But when KDB comes
But I
back,
think if you look at
when I'm
walks
Phil,
straight back into the team.
yeah, when I'm Phil.
well.
You say, but
then if you're Phil Foden,
I think KDB's fade is going to start.
Well, he's
to
32
come
now.
out. Yeah, he's
But
33
I think he's going to pick and choose his games, as in I think it'll still be KDB when it comes to the big games.
This is where Pep is super historically has been super ruthless. And it won't surprise me if this is now the fade out of KDB.
The
I
only
won't
2
surprise
players
me
he kind of
if he's earned it in that period. If Foden does what he needs to do in that period in the Champions League specifically, yeah, but Pep's ruthless enough.
Yeah.
We've seen
Like,
it
the only 2
before.
players Pep really let age in that team is Company and Fernandinho.
Mm.
Everyone else,
Oh yeah, he loved
Hold it.
He
Yeah.
loved Fernandinho.
and you could
Loved him.
grant and say those 2, they were still playing at a high performance.
Aguero, look at Aguero.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 33,
fake
man.
tears.
33.
You can't
He can
You
do
think
well in this
KDB's
season.
not enough credit to be one of those players?
Nah, I think you can say hold
With,
it.
most,
it?
with the rest of us, yes. Pep, that calculating guy, the guy cried
Yeah.
on live TV.
Aguero will
replace it.
never replace.
He cannot replace.
He had the alien arriving. No, don't put anything past.
Kyle Walker, he's getting on a bit.
That's
and
what I'm
he's,
saying. No, but they were ready.
Nah,
They were ready to let him
That
go.
one's different.
Yeah.
That one's
Yeah, they
different.
were almost let him go.
That one is different. He's still running around like he's 28. He's different. But if Bayern and I think they agreed the fee was Kyle Walker that said not to go. Apparently,
Yeah,
they were ready
But
to let him go.
Pavard, apparently Inter have agreed the fee and almost agreed the deal. That's the rumor that's flying about.
Really?
I think if that's the case, then do you reckon they come back in with an improved offer
Maybe.
for Kyle Walker?
No, I think he said no. And I think
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
gonna
you
sign
think
a
so?
new
They
deal.
agreed?
I think
Okay.
he's going to sign a new. I think he's going to sign a new deal. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like-
Yeah.
him and Bernardo Silva.
Okay.
Sign on
They're
new
gonna-
deal.
But I think this is a problem. This is a headache that's coming. If Foden, not even if, I think he will perform very well, and I think he will make that his.
But that's the headache you want, right?
This is KDB. This is Kevin De Bruyne.
You're 32 now, bro.
And he's becoming a little more injury prone.
Yeah,
he's had a few more injuries.
And we've seen with other players, when they have to have that hamstring operation, not that it's healed.
That's going to slow him
crazy.
down.
Who's the last person we saw have that we can remember? Ross Barkley? And that was kept him out for months. It wasn't the same after that. Now, so where is he now?
Okay,
Luton.
Is that Luton?
Yeah.
That's a bold statement that you reckon this is the fade out.
I think it's the start.
Foden delivers, I can see.
Okay, so let's say he doesn't deliver. So shoe on the other foot. Do you think
KDB's
the fade
back
out
doing outside of the boot to Holland?
But for how long then?
I think he got 2 more seasons.
You think so? 2 more seasons.
End of next season, he's 35.
So this season and next season.
Yeah, so 34. Yeah.
I think if Foden doesn't stake his claim properly this season, someone gets bought. Or Cole Palmer gets drafted.
I agree.
But
with
they
that.
disagree for a fee for the Belgium guy.
Yeah, the winger.
He's a winger.
He's a
That's
winger.
Amara's replacement.
Yeah.
But that stifles Palmer because he said it before.
No, Palmer wants to go.
He
Palmer wants
said
to leave.
before the
Did he?
Yeah,
the
Palmer wants to
Super Cup.
leave.
Yeah.
He said Palmer's either gonna go on loan or leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Palmer's told him already he wants to go.
Yeah. But he's seen other players who are probably not even as good as him kick on and play first.
And
He's
plus
in the
Manchester
under
won the
21s, but he's seeing all the under 21s all playing football.
Gibbs
Yeah,
White's got a permanent spot, a regular spot. Curtis Jones he's got a better spot than it might not be permanent first team, but he's got a better spot than Cole Palmer. Who else? The keeper. Cole Will. Yeah, fair enough.
Cole Will's gone back to Chelsea. He's playing 90 minutes.
Smart.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, that's a lot of City players that's wanting to leave this summer, though. That's a good City players.
And at the end of the day, you just want a treble. So clearly you're doing something right. And at those clubs, they're historically the hardest clubs to get into as a youth player, right? You have to be super generational talent. So, and that winger they bought here is very good, and he's already doing it in the first team.
No, Doc is a baller. He's a baller. He's tricky.
And it's
direct, tricky.
And it's 50 million.
I'll be interested to see how Pep tames him.
Yeah.
Or Pep, not tames him, but
I know what you mean.
Utilizes him, right? And I say that because I saw him for Belgium, and I've seen him.
I know who you're talking about.
Wasn't he at,
yes. Now I know what you said.
League. Or was he in the French? No, he was in the French league.
Now I know what you said. Team. I just remember what you're talking about. Yeah.
He's electric. He likes to be direct and beat his man. And
is he like Traore? No end product. Right.
We'll see, man. What about Newcastle? What's the take on them?
Bruv, you're playing City, innit?
Yeah,
they could have more of a goal.
Yeah, I think they could have put more of a glove on them.
I think they could have more of a goal.
They could have, but I think you just see some of the superiority. It was a good setup. From what I saw, I think they gave a good account of themselves, I'll be honest. And they just need, if they had a striker that was their level above them, so whatever we think Isak's going to become, or if they bought this kind of striker that is a level below a Haaland or whatever, then that game might have been, like you said, they gave away a lot of chances. They just didn't take them. But yeah, I think Newcastle gave a decent account of themselves. It wasn't a rout or anything. So yeah.
I think we'll get a better idea on Newcastle this weekend against Liverpool. I think that will be a better indication of where they're at.
Who's in their Champions? Have they done the draw for Champions League?
No, that's next week.
I'm waiting for their Champions League. I really want to see them in the Champions League. I want to see some of these players. I want to see Dan Burn in the Champions League.
They're in pot four.
Yeah, they're in pot four. They're going to have a group. They're going to have a hard group, man.
That's peak.
Hey,
do you think they've got a good enough squad or a big enough squad to deal with that?
Nope.
No.
To deal with the pot four seeding and the...
To be fair, there's normally one group that's okay-ish, innit? Even if you are pot four, there's normally one group. And they need to be in that group if they're pot four.
I mean, who are we looking at? Let's just pot ones. Who are we looking at? What, Real Madrid? Like that are techie.
No, Real Madrid's pot two. Pot one, you look.
They could still get pot two.
Yeah. They could still get.
We're looking at they could get Real Madrid.
It could be like who won the? It could be Napoli,
PSG,
Napoli.
Let me
see if I can see the pots here.
Peak.
No, I don't even get the pots. My thing is, they basically have to play the majority of the same players in the Prem, in the CL, and the FA Cup.
I don't think they'll care.
The FA Cup. They can rotate Carabao
personally,
and rotate a little bit in FA Cup, but that's a lot of games for basically 14 man to play.
I think they're obviously going to want to put their best foot forward in the Champions League. That's a given. They're also going to want to maintain a top 4 challenge.
Yeah.
Realistically speaking, can we skimp on the cups this season?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
100%.
Yeah.
Have you watched the documentary?
Like, do you know what? I think
Have you watched the documentary?
No, I'm going to start
yeah.
that.
Oh,
Watch it and then we'll take that. I don't know about that.
You don't think they're skimping on the cups?
No. The
I
ownership
think
are
they
not on that.
They want everything.
But I think they could get through the Champions League though. Remember Leicester? Leicester had 1 year in the Champions League. They got to quarter final. Like, it would affect their league form.
Pot 1. City, Sevilla, Barcelona,
But obviously,
Napoli.
they can't get English teams. So
Yeah, Bayern, PSG, Benfica, Feyenoord. Right. Pot 2,
Peak.
Yeah, that's the peak. pot.
Madrid, United, Milan, Dortmund, Atletico, Leipzig, Porto, Arsenal. Then, so you could.
Let's say they get
you
Benfica,
could get,
Madrid.
You can't get City, Madrid, surely.
You can.
You can't get City. Oh,
You can.
Oh, you can get City.
Yeah, you can. You can.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Newcastle
Newcastle
can't.
can't,
Newcastle can't. But yeah,
Pot
it's
3,
doable.
Shakhtar, Salzburg, AC Milan, Lazio, Red Star, and then the qualifiers are to the rest.
If you've got,
Union
like,
Berlin.
if you've got like a final from pot 1, you're laughing.
You know
Yeah,
what
I
you
think you
want?
are. I think
Yeah.
you are.
All
We've
right,
got
let's
a
say they get a
final.
Benfica. Let's say they get Benfica, Madrid, and Milan.
Nah.
Why?
Milan,
Why
Milan,
not?
Madrid going through.
That's a techie group, bro. And then you're still
Rafael Leao is
contending.
gonna dismiss
Yeah.
all of that,
I
bro.
don't know.
And you still got teams like Galatasaray in the qualifiers.
And when,
tomorrow.
I think the quality's finished.
No. It's tomorrow and Wednesday, the final
When do-
qualifiers.
Oh, is it?
So
Oh,
there's
okay.
Champions-
9 spots.
Yeah.
So
Oh, is it
Champions
still
League
spots?
starts
Oh,
what,
wow.
September?
Yeah.
And goes to February.
No,
The groups- the group
December,
stages.
December.
Oh, they shortened it now.
No, it's always been December. And then they
you have
break
the big gap.
until
The
it
knockout,
resumes.
yeah, they have the break and then
Knockouts,
the
yeah.
knockouts start in February. Yes.
Listen, if I'm Newcastle, yeah, this is what I want. I want Feyenoord, Porto,
Yeah.
and Red Star.
You can get through that. They can get through that. But them big sim
It's not
games is
happening.
like,
That's what you want.
they can beat someone.
Holland.
But
But
how does the
Yeah.
seeding work in this pot? Is
Portugal.
the seeding put you in the right pot?
What do you mean?
So I've just drawn something theoretical here, but does the seeding affect that? Or does the seeding what gets you in pot 1?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
not pot 1. So what you've just said can happen.
Yeah, that's what they need, man.
Mm.
That's what they need. Because I don't even know if they want Benfica away. That stadium is mad.
But
Well, they play their own
they
bad
could be
stadium.
them
Or Red
home,
Star.
though. They could be them
Or
home.
Red Star away.
Boy, yeah, it's yeah. I can't
Red
wait for
Star
Tommy
away,
to
and
come
then you
back,
got to
man.
come back and play
And you got
City.
to think about
them
all these
flares.
other teams, when they look in pot 4, they don't want Newcastle when they look in pot 4.
That's true.
Well, these are season CL teams. How many of Newcastle's team have played in Champions League before? Trippier?
Or no, you're
Kim-
looking at like
Guimaraes?
the pot 3
Has he?
teams don't want.
Yeah, with Leon.
Yeah,
It was a Leon. I mean,
Wait, did they?
No, I don't think he did when he was there. I don't think he played
No.
CL when
No,
he was there.
in the documentary, he said he's looking forward to playing in the CL.
Yeah.
He's never
Yeah,
played
yeah.
in it.
No, I don't think so.
Oh my God.
What's his name? The man they made a
Isaac.
midfielder.
Isaac's
Oh,
played?
Jolinton?
Joe Linton. He's not played Champions League.
No, Isaac's played
For
Has
who?
he?
Dortmund.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Okay. Isak, Trippier. Dan Burn.
Longstaff?
Botman. Botman.
Botman, yeah. Where was he? He was in Holland, wasn't he?
Maybe not then.
Sven Botman.
Yeah, maybe.
PSV.
That's what I'm saying.
PSV.
So we can say
Yeah,
that, but
yeah.
a lot of these teams, they've got guys who have played Champions League. I mean, they don't want a bit of Leipzig. I saw them against Bayern the other day. They don't want
Yeah,
that.
Leipzig.
Tonali.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 see?
Tonali. But thank you.
Yo,
I was
Yeah,
telling you,
yeah.
man, about it.
Yeah, you weren't joking. You weren't joking.
Yeah,
that guy is proper.
And if you saw him at Brescia before he went to Milan,
He just needs to get to grips with the fact that he's in Newcastle. But he'll be alright.
Going
picking up the
Wetherspoons.
ball in midfield and just running through, man.
They stitched him up, man.
They did it. They did it.
All right. Villa 4, Everton 0. Cooking.
Just wrap it up, Everton, man. Wrap it up, man.
Cooking. I think after everything, I don't know whether someone at the Prem knew. After everything we said, the image is DRB and Bailey wheeling away. Like, don't worry, we're here. I mean, another comprehensive win. I think they needed that after getting cooked last week. Big injury to Mings. Get well soon. But yeah, Everton, man. Like, by all accounts, I mean, Calvert-Lewin starts, injured again.
The only thing is,
How long before they
unlucky,
just
it was
sack him
unlucky,
off?
though.
it wasn't a typical injury.
Yeah, it was
Like it
unlucky.
wasn't like a muscle injury what he normally has.
Smashed in the face.
But-
Yeah, it's crashed into the goalkeeper, and it.
Oh, there was a concussion
yeah,
style.
Yeah, and it
Yeah,
flared
it
up,
looked
yeah.
like he done some pretty damage to his cheekbone.
Unlucky. I mean, how long has he got after his contract? They might be a point where they're like, I don't even know if he gets another Prem
But
team.
can they attract anyone else? They ain't got no other
They
striker.
They're going
brought
for-
one 19-year-old.
They're going for Che
Portuguese
Adams.
striker.
And we were saying that Morpay, they brought Morpay last season.
No, he's better than Morpay though.
Oh, what's he
Yeah,
gonna
but
do?
he's not the level.
Okay, wait.
Yeah,
What's he
let's
gonna-
address
what's
this
he
because in
gonna
the
do,
group I was
man?
confused. Wait, Che Adams is not Prem level or decent enough for Everton.
Not to get them out
But
of
he
fire.
could do
With
anything.
their constraints.
Yeah.
You got to think about what's the best I can get for what I can spend.
Granted, but what's Che
He
Adams?
scored
Okay,
more
so-
than Morpay though.
Before you answer, he's better. He's going to score more goals than what they've got today. That's fact.
Yeah, but that's 3 goals.
Doesn't matter.
He's not.
Yeah,
He's
I
not
know.
better than Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, but you have to play.
Yeah, he's
No, but
not-
you have to play.
Yeah.
We don't know that anymore. Calvert-Lewin hasn't played in so long. We don't know.
Yeah, he hasn't had a
We don't
good
know.
season for 2 years.
You could not get someone better than him.
Tell us who. How much is it going to
That's
cost?
willing
Do
to come to Everton.
we know?
God.
Do we know how much?
How much is it? How
the
much?
fee?
Yeah, that's
It's,
what's
it's,
the
it's
fee?
nominal. It's like less than 20.
Who?
Like it-
Che Adams.
All right.
Yeah.
15.
So who's better
Yeah.
than
15.
who's better than
15
Che
mil.
Adams for 15 million?
Jesus.
But
What about
therein
the
lies
Leicester
problem.
one?
Who?
Oh, not Daka.
Iheanacho.
Yeah,
Not
Daka.
Daka or
Or
Iheanacho.
Nacho. Yeah, I'll take
Yeah,
either one of them.
there you go.
I'll take either of them.
No,
yeah.
sorry.
For 15 million?
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
getting a Nacho for 15 million, bruv.
Not
Oh,
happening.
I'll take-
You're coughing up at
Or
least
Daka.
25, 30.
I'll
Daka.
take one of them two.
You're coughing up 25, 30 for either of those guys.
Well, I'll pay that
About-
for them.
Nonto.
It's not your money.
Nonto don't want to go now, apparently.
Oh, really?
What? No,
he
he
but he's
put
not
in
a
the
9. He's not a
he put in
9.
the transfer.
Nonto's not a 9.
All right.
That's what I'm saying.
Bamford. You get Bamford.
To do what?
But therein lies the problem, though. Everton have fallen off so much
That no one
that
wants to go.
that's the market
No, but let's be
that they're
honest.
looking at.
If they had the resources, money talks, bro. If they had the resources, they could go and get someone. They could.
Yeah, even
And then they're
for
selling
abroad,
Damari Gray to Saudi.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
cashed out.
Well, he's
seen-
one of the-
He's been in that training ground. He's seen how bad it is. He goes, yeah,
I thought
yo,
he was going
listen.
Fulham. What happened
I'll
to his
go.
Fulham move? I thought he was going Fulham.
I don't know.
Did that fall through?
So you look at this starting 11. Excuse me, Ashley Young left back.
That's terrible.
And
Yeah.
get
James
out,
Tarkowski.
And he, how old is he now?
Keane. He's 36, 37.
37?
And he's been the only proper signing.
Patterson
No, they got
right
that
back.
Portuguese striker.
Just a gay who went and came back a shadow of his former self.
Mm-hmm.
Iwobi had a decent season last year by all accounts.
But he's on the
he was
bench
their
now.
best player, wasn't he?
Yeah. Anana, good player by all accounts. He's looking to move.
He'll be
And he
gone.
needs to move before long because
No, regardless, he won't. If they get relegated,
Yeah,
he
he's
won't,
off,
he won't
yeah.
go down.
Decore, Ghana, don't know who that is, and then DC up front.
Ghana's the one that come from Man United, isn't it? The centre midfielder.
Yeah. Oh,
I think
okay.
he came through
Yeah,
the ranks
rings
at
a bell.
United. But
And then of course the new look. I say new look, but they've added to it. You know, this Villa team. Bailey started. Bailey
Shopping.
and Diaby started.
Shopping.
McGinn, Watkins,
Shopping.
Louise. Yeah, and then if you add, Digna started. Oh, Luca Digna. Okay, he's back.
He might be moving though. I saw something. He. Might
Well,
be
where's
going out
that?
alone.
But the guy that he prefers, he must be injured because I know that
Alex
left back
Moreno.
mad. Like that mileage the guy does up and down that line is crazy.
just about Everton, though, quickly before we move on. Why haven't they got no money? I don't understand this. I thought that their owner had money.
Nah,
Is it still Fahad Mashiri?
yes, but then I think he had some backing from Uzmanov, Ukrainian, so that's affected him. And
Russian.
The stadium.
Ukrainian. He's
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
the
what I'm saying. The
stadium as well.
stadium. That's what I'm
Is it-
saying.
is
They're
it
getting into a
Ukrainian?
brand new stadium next season,
Yeah.
and they're gonna have nothing to show for it. No players or
Yeah, but
anything.
financial fair play as well caught up with them, remember? So,
It's bad,
and
though.
I'll be honest, yeah. They spent quite a bit for Everton. They just didn't spend it well. 50 million for Sigurdsson, all of that comes back to haunt you. So when you're making
Yeah.
those kind of
Richarlison.
investments, if Richarlison, if they don't, you can't keep doing that forever. It's supposed to have an upturn. You get Champions League or whatever money, you get better prize money. They haven't been doing that, right? Then people have left. Sigurdsson didn't play because of his issues and then got released. They would have been paying him that wage. He only left this season, you know?
Yeah.
No, he
Season's
left
gone?
the season before.
No, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
the
it was
season's
the
just gone.
season before.
But Richarlison, they got a
He
good.
left.
They
He
got
was
a good
out-
money
I think
for
He
him.
was just out of contract.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I
I think
mean.
they
So the
recouped-
contract just ended this season. So they were still paying him until the end of the season.
How much
It's
did they
gone.
buy
You sure?
Richarlison for?
I'm pretty sure.
They spent like 50 odd million from Watford.
Is it?
Yeah, that was like 5 years ago or something like that.
And then they got,
So
they
financial
got
fair
60
play-
back for him.
Oh, he's Uzbekistanian, sorry. Yeah, Uzbeki Russian businessman.
Mm.
And I remember there's
Yeah, it
some
was
not
last
funny
season.
business, but it was
He was
him.
was
it
it
last
contract
season
for a
before?
Yeah.
Usman, I think like
He
his
was
assets
backing-
got frozen and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah, and he was back. But I think before that, financial fair play, stadium, etc. So yeah, it's tricky for them. But again, we've seen clubs with smaller budgets with the right mentality get through this. So they have to change the mentality. They've got to buy quality.
They need to get relegated. And if you look at a team like Brighton, for instance, who are smaller than Everton, and look what they're doing.
Brentford. It's the approach. Like resources, the hangover from spending that money and not getting the return from the players. It takes some time to wash through, but it just doesn't seem like their strategy is cognizant of that fact. Like if you're, you went to buy Frank Lamp, bro, Neil Maupay, like no disrespect to him, but compared to his peers, bro, what was he gonna come and do at Everton?
Yeah.
We never saw him scoring mad goals like Brighton unless he was playing Arsenal. So, what was, and they paid decent money for him, didn't they?
I don't think it was more than 20.
They paid more than they did for Shea Adams. They're going to pay for Shea Adams. Do you know what I mean? And now if you're Shea Adams, you come in there, you just got ready to get to Southampton.
Yeah, wow.
Do you want to go to a team that you might pass Southampton on the way, on the rebound? Apart from you'll get a wage increase and you can put yourself in the Prem shop window for another season.
This is it. That's it. I think that's the biggest thing. It's the
If I
window
was him,
that
I'd
you're.
rather stay.
It's the window that you're advertising yourself in.
No, I agree. I know it's only 2 games in, but Villa cooking again. I know Everton are not the best team. Do we need to wait again, like we said for a couple of other teams? Let them play people in and around them. Let's see what.
I think losing Mings is going to be a big issue for them.
Obviously, look what happened to them last week, so gotta wait.
But it kind of early on proves why you go and get Torres, right? Because go top quality.
But he didn't look good though.
Yeah, but that game was mad. You come in, as Terrell said, you come in, high line. The Newcastle picking you off on the break. Welcome to the Prem, bro.
He did not look good at all.
It's a bit like you're joining, you're like, nah, what's going on? It's like someone's playing the game on fast forward. Yeah, it's crazy. All right. Before we get onto some of the other topics, any other games?
Yeah, can we talk about Chelsea?
Chelsea?
Yeah.
Or Chelsea West Ham?
Yeah, Chelsea West Ham.
I thought you were doing the Chelsea chant.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
That's how the chant goes, isn't it?
This is one of those games, If you didn't watch it and you just saw the result, you'd think that West Ham moves to Chelsea. That's not how it was.
No.
That's not how it was. It was a proper,
the bits and bobs.
Yeah, I won't say it's a smash and grab.
If you make consistent mistakes. It's not smash and grab. It's not like you pepper them and you got a nod at the back post in the last minute. But I think Chelsea started well. Raheem Sterling was
direct.
Was very direct.
Best game in
Best he's looked
a long
for a
time.
while,
I tell you what, it's interesting to play a slightly different role than what he was doing at City because he's the one kind of starting the attacks, picking up the ball and saying, right, I'm going to drive through 3 or 4 players. He did it quite a few times rather than making those intelligent runs and benefiting from, KDB or Bernardo or one of those guys providing and being the finisher. The problem is he's not passing to himself in it. So then the other pieces that were really threatening was Jackson, Enzo, and Chukwuemeka was looking lively. He gave Souček a bad first half. Bad first half.
The goal was good. The skill.
But even before that, he bodied him on the touchline, and I thought, okay. Drove into the box, didn't make the right decision, as we all heard on the mics from Enzo. And then not too long after, he sends Enzo to Tesco for some sweets and then slaps it in the side netting. Then gets injured 10 minutes later.
Said it might be an MCL.
Really?
Is it that bad? Oh man.
What is going on with all these knee injuries?
No, but that one was, he clattered into Thingy's shin at high speed at a funny angle.
Yeah, but there's been quite a few Timber, Mings, who else? There's been Buendia.
But this one was impact. I think the other ones, you're right. But this one, like you saw it and you were like, not good.
I hit that, but regardless of how it happened,
there's been quite a few.
There's been quite a few knee injuries.
I was listening to a pod earlier saying that there's data that suggests, overworked muscles means there's less support for the joints and you get more AC, you get more ligament tears, etc., etc. That there is data to prove that. So
I mean,
the whole thing of burning out players or players playing too many games, maybe it's starting to manifest.
I mean, in the women's game, they were blaming the football boots, right?
Yeah.
Saying that they're not specifically molded to women's needs.
Yeah.
Is there something within the men's game
About the boots.
maybe not the boots, but something? All right, to your point, the whole burnout of the overusage of muscles, but is there something else there? Because I've never entered a season, or I've never as a fan started watching football coming up to a new season, seen this many knee injuries.
Yeah, no, it's true. And
It's just
I remember last season, specifically among Arsenal fans, it was, can't Saka get a rest, Saka get a rest. But when I looked back at other people that were, the Hazards and other comparable players who were young, were really important to their team, he hasn't played as many minutes as that. Well, those guys were in the Champions League. But he hasn't even played that many. I think it feels like their players are playing more games because there's so much football on TV.
But
it's so accessible. But when you look at the minutes,
there was a table that come out, and Saka, in terms of high profile under 21s, Saka was in the top 3.
Yeah, right now.
In terms of minutes played.
Right now or historically?
As in, I think it was for
I think it came out last season.
Yeah,
so
up to a
for a
point.
period he's played. He has played a lot of games.
The stat come out today that Saka's played 83 consecutive Premier League games.
Yeah.
There's going to be
83.
burnout. They need to start resting.
Yeah, no. I mean, like I said, when you look at previous prodigies,
Look at Michael Owen.
Yeah.
Blew out his knee.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, Chelsea started well. I'm not gonna lie. Look at Chelsea lineup now, and I don't know half of the people who are on that team. I'd never heard of Gusto before.
Yeah, I'd never heard of him.
I don't know where Disasi's come from. I don't know who he
Who's
is.
the centre back? Monaco?
Disasi.
Disasi.
Yeah, he came from Monaco.
Yeah, Antonio. He was winning the battle initially. Then Antonio just he just started making.
Is that what you're on?
Yeah, started making silly fouls.
Started
Making silly fouls. He just looked like over time experience showed. The Chelsea players got a bit tired mentally. They weren't making the right decisions. You could see in the play because Chelsea players just started running with the ball. It was like 5-a-side instead of moving the ball quickly.
Yeah.
People was moving the ball. Mudryk came on. It was terrible, bro.
This is where Chelsea.
I feel for him. I'll be honest.
This is where Chelsea are going to suffer because they brought in all this youth and tried to just base on potential, but they don't have enough experience littered around the squad, right?
And I'm looking at his bench. To your point,
Thiago Silva was the only one. Who else?
Him and Sterling, really.
And Chilwell.
Yeah, he's an experienced player now.
But another Reece James, another one he got injured again.
But apparently that's only 2 or 3 weeks. Apparently,
is it?
Yeah, apparently it's
okay.
a calm one.
Yeah, but 3 players out of your 11,
bro. To your point, their bench: Mudryk, by the way, Caicedo.
Oh, can we talk about him a second?
Yeah,
afterwards.
Burstow.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Burstow, another youngster. Was on loan at Charlton last season, I believe. Cucurella, we got Chuku, Maatsen, who I think is sick, left-footed player. Played pre-season, left back and centre mid.
Oh yeah. Why is he not playing? He should be playing.
Boy. Bergstrom, don't know where he plays, and Humphreys. That's his bench.
Yeah, that's not good enough.
From an attacking point of view, apart from Madueke, and Mudryk, what's he changing?
Yeah, I think Humphreys is the goalie.
So Madueke and Mudryk are his attacking options there. Yeah, I know he's got injuries, but even when you look at injuries, who do you get waiting for? Broja and Cuckoo was a big loss. Big loss.
Yeah, he did say he can rely on Broja when he's back.
Wasn't Nkunku another knee injury?
Yeah. So I don't know. I think on the base of it, they did look like a good team, but he needs them to do that for longer and stick to it for longer. But to your point, he hasn't got enough experienced heads to carry that through. Apart from Souček, everyone else kind of got to grips with them.
Yeah.
And they had a man sent off as well.
Yeah.
So they had a man sent off.
Yeah,
and then they still pressed on. When they had the man sent off, it was 1-1, no?
No, it's 2-1.
It was 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah. Scored
So they scored another one.
And then Caicedo come on for maybe the worst debut in Premier League history.
He looked unfit. He looked unfit. He looked like
Which is crazy.
He played pre-season.
No, but they said he hasn't played for 60 days or something.
He played. He was out in USA with them. He was playing in that Premier
for
League.
Brighton.
Yeah, in that Premier League
he looked
series.
He looked off the pace.
He looked terrible.
He looked nervous.
Shouldn't look like the money's got it settled in already.
What, you put his feet up, yeah?
Maybe, bro.
Well, 8 years?
Yeah,
Hold it.
It's true. It's true. Mama, we made it.
We good. Check is clear, didn't it?
And you know, as the player was running from him, I'm watching him like, no, like literally, I'm shouting, no.
You can see
it. Bruv. And of course, the inevitable meme with the Tims on. I mean, again, second game, series of circumstances. But the problem is, you know, West Ham are historical rivals of Chelsea. As Poch, you want to give a good account of yourself in that game early on. I mean, but they've got Luton next. Not an easy game.
No.
But if they don't win by three clear
They
goals,
need to
I'm
win
sure.
comprehensively.
Yeah, but we can't.
That's-
I'm not
sure.
sure.
I'm not sure, man.
Wait, hold on.
No, man.
Wait,
No,
man.
man.
Wait.
No, I'm not here.
Wait. We can't have it both ways. We can't say the team is young, the team is this, team is that, and say they got to go to Luton and batter them 3-0. We can't have
You
it both
can.
ways.
You can. If I'm Bowley, if I'm Todd Bowley, or if I'm whoever Win Stanley, whoever those directors are, big man, I need a 3-0 here.
So at the risk of being a little bit premature, what are Poch's biggest things to fix? Top 3 things to fix. Top 3 things to really... I know it's only been 2 games.
Squad cohesion.
Okay.
A settled first 11. Because they've got no European football, they can essentially play a settled first 11 all season.
Week in, week out.
Yeah.
So I think he needs to find his best team as soon as
Possible.
I think he's kind of close to it, though, to be fair.
I think so.
I think he's kind of close to his best team. Especially when Lavia and Caicedo come in.
And then
But
Kuku was out.
if everyone was fit, because like even though Jackson hasn't scored,
he
he's been
looks
very
fresh.
he's been
Yeah,
very
he's been
industrious.
good. I think he
I'm
would be the
not gonna
striker.
lie to you. Not keeping João Felix. To me, is looking
a
like
bit nuts
big
now, isn't it?
big
Oh
mistake.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
But-
looking a bit...
The money in it.
But
That's
Felix,
looking a bit...
He didn't do much, though. What did
He had an effect on
He
games.
didn't do
Yeah.
nothing.
He had an effect on games.
Bro,
It sounded like our
I
old
hate
friend.
how nothing like that, but I hate how people don't like.
Eye test.
He only had what?
Oh, why are
5
you
months?
excusing him? No, man's talking to you, bro.
No,
but-
I've heard
And he had a
this.
free game ban.
It's not that. It's not that. I've heard this before.
Yeah.
Genuinely
Bro,
speaking,
our-
and he had a free game
Our
ban.
bold friend in the group has been on him.
It's not,
On
it's not
him.
me, by the way.
Mate, or me.
What did he call him? He called him he called him something. He called him Portuguese Walcott or something. He said, and I said, well, Walcott's got
ridiculous.
100 goals for us.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's been on him. But if you watch him, his stats, man, if you watch him play, he definitely had a positive effect on Chelsea's. For in this team now,
Yeah.
the way they're playing with Jackson, it's been long.
Yeah. But
It'll
I
be
think that midfield 3 will do well. Like only playing Premier League.
What, LFC?
Enzo, Caicedo
See.
and Lavia. I think that's a
Next time we're all here with Terrell, I have to apologise to Conor Gallagher.
Baller.
Nah, I don't know, man.
What?
I'm not having it still. He's
You're
bare,
not having it?
bare energy, bruv. Bare
Who
big
was
test.
the game against us? Did you see where he was flying about that pitch, bro?
yeah,
I'm
we
not gonna
weren't-
lie to
we
you.
weren't great though.
Nah, I think
I don't think
he's
he
just
had
a
a good
presser.
game.
He's
Yeah.
just a presser.
I think
He was more than that at Palace, though.
I think
At Palace,
I think
that's
Palace
his
is level.
I think, yeah, exactly.
and that's the argument
That's
I
what I was
having.
gonna say, like, yeah.
Someone telling me
Yeah.
Palace is level. I'm like, no, man. There must be a team between like
Nah.
top 4 and Palace.
That's
He's
the
not like,
level.
nah. So I think what I accuse people of doing with Mason Mount, I did with Gallagher. Because the 2 games this season, I'm like, yo, you literally just run around, crash into people.
Yeah.
I thought he was more box to box. I thought he was like a poor man's Bellingham.
But do you think? Ooh, okay, yeah, that's wild.
I thought like
That's wild.
he will do the box to box. He'll pick up the ball. He'll do the late
Pass it
run,
off
score some
and
goals.
whatnot,
Yeah, because he was doing that at Palace. And it's the Prem. But the 2 games so far, hopefully proves me wrong. But as soon as Lavia's fit, as soon as Caicedo's fit, he's finished.
I think
He's holding
Enzo
bench.
is really looking like he's got to grips with the Prem now.
Yeah,
he's
he's a
starting
good
to
player.
he's starting
Big
to
time.
flourish. Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, he's
I'm not gonna lie to you, I was very unfamiliar.
I
was very
This,
upset. I'm not even gonna
this
hold you.
Enzo that's running around, picking up the ball, dropping it off, moving.
Yeah.
I was like, this ain't the DM thing.
He's a very good player.
but- He's a
Yeah,
baller.
I think once Lavia comes in and he goes more forward, you're gonna
Yeah.
see more from him.
I think it's a big shame for Chukwuemeka. Let's see what they're saying for Friday because now they got to replace him.
Chukwuemeka.
The Chukwuemeka.
Just call him Cardi, man.
remixing his name.
You want my mum to cuss me? No, I need to be saying the name proper. Chukwuemeka. But Nkunku would have played there. He's got his chance injured. So who does he play there? Who does he place him with?
What's his name? The English guy.
You're gonna have to do more than that, mate.
What's his name? You said it earlier.
We're recording this, by the way.
Oh, I know that.
Conor Gallagher.
No. Matteson.
No, the under 21 guy.
They don't have an under 21.
Madueke.
Yeah, that's
Madueke.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm looking at his name.
I weren't like, I weren't afraid to say it. Like,
no, I know you weren't, but I know you just couldn't remember. You're the one that told me about it.
He was good last season.
Yeah, I think
he was very good last season,
man. Like, let him run out.
Yeah, that's true.
And he was doing a job for PSV as well.
Yeah,
mate. Yeah. Well, look, I think to answer the question I posed to you guys, I do think he needs to. You're right, settle on the first 11, but I think he's almost there. I think he needs to figure out what, apart from Enzo, Sterling, and Jackson, how the rest of the team kind of. You can't be one track because then you're predictable. Like, there's a few times Raheem picked up the ball, it's going to turn, it's going to drive through. You have to switch it later, you switch sides, etc. But what is their alternative? When that plan isn't working, what is that? Because after a while, West Ham figured it out. Jackson didn't get much joy, crowded out Sterling. So what is their plan B with the squad that they've got? And thirdly, he needs to sort out that centre-back situation because the whole point of having the Sasse and Kovo is the speed. Kovo had an okay game, did anything crazy. The Sasse, bruv, Antonio took him to school. What are his alternatives there? Because if you're leaving Thiago to do any kind of speed merchant business, you're finished. He'll marshal the back line. He'll do well with the ball. But, Badia was injured though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's out for a while. And obviously they got Fofana's out for another knee injury.
Oh, mate.
Fofana.
All right then. Sorry, Potts. Good. All the best Friday, mate. All the best Friday. And then I think last but not least of the interesting games to cover, we have the game that was played tonight. I didn't see any of it. Daz, talk to me. Cheeky 1-0 win for Arsenal away at Palace.
Yeah, not the best performance. At the moment, he's not happy.
Who?
Arteta. And I'm not happy as well. He keeps tinkering with the team. This part A at right back business and the left back not being sorted, it's too much tinkering. Gabriel, what's going on with him? He's not playing. So
they will say I'm speaking.
At the moment, they got the win. Not the best performance, but they got the win.
Yeah,
you take it and you move on.
Considering how settled you were towards the back end of last season, I'm surprised how much chop and change. Like, obviously, there have been injuries and whatnot, but yeah, it doesn't seem very Arteta-like. It seems like more Arteta of 2 or 3 years ago rather than what we've seen of late.
He's been quoted as saying he doesn't want us to be predictable. Last season was last season. People figure us out, blah, blah, blah. And I just hope this isn't, we know Arteta's a confident individual. And I just hope this isn't his confidence thinking that he can do this. Like, let us be predictable first, bro. Like, just do what we did last season and let people figure it out. But look, what's that? 2 wins now.
Yeah,
he will say 6 points. Say he's not been the best, but it's 6 points. Better start than last season. However, the rumours are obviously the Gabriel's having his head turned by Saudi interest, hence the changes. But he said they're tactical. Oh, mate, I don't know.
It can't be tactical. We played Forest and Crystal Palace, not 2 of the best teams in the league. Literally just scrape by both of them.
Yeah. I need to go and watch the highlights. I need to see it. I need a bit more Havertz watch.
Have you got United next, or is it the game after you got United?
No, the game after. We got Fulham next on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then United.
At home. At least that's at home. So yeah, but 6 points. Tomiyasu sent off. What was he sent off for?
2 yellows. The first yellow was for delay and a throw-in. So the new rules. And then the second one, a little tug.
So it was a yellow anyway.
It's 2 yellows.
Yeah, fine.
It was 2 yellows.
No, but as in that far, weren't a yellow anyway, so you shouldn't really be doing it if you're already on a yellow. Okay,
yeah.
Fair. That's a 1-match ban now.
Yeah.
So who's he going to play there? It's going to be...
He's still got... Zinchenko's back. He came on as sub.
Okay.
So Zinchenko's back. He's still got...
Ben White. No. Yeah. Okay, fine.
And I don't know what's going on with Kieran.
I think if Timber doesn't get injured, he's off.
Go.
Yeah.
But he never even made the bench today. Yeah, he wasn't even on the bench.
Wow.
And transfer talk's gone all quiet about him because obviously there's Newcastle interested, but they've decided to go with the Chelsea left back. So I don't know. There's a lot to sort out at the moment. It's not
Kiwi Orr's there. George, and that's another thing. Sometimes when we talk about this player, we forget. I always forget there's players. So Kiwi Orr's there. But it's not looking good from a defensive point of view, you know. Gabriel came on.
Yeah.
That's great for my
surprised
fantasy
that
team.
Trossard hasn't played more this season, considering how well he done last season.
Martinelli's been doing his thing.
Yeah.
That they have got a classic old school like competition for places thing going on that left hand side. But then again, to your point, Trossard can play right across.
I like him up front. I like Trossard up front.
Really? What, false 19? No, it was a 9-9.
That's a 9, yeah.
Really? Because he's not going to make runs in behind. He's not going to do any of that stuff.
But he can finish. I think if he gives him a chance, he'll finish.
Yeah, that's interesting. False nine.
There's rumours that Pepe's coming back into the fold. Apparently today, Arteta, again, internet rumours, ITKs are telling us, he asked for a meeting with Pepe and his representatives to kind of say, well, look, if you want to come back in, you want to be considered, this is what I need. Are you up for it? His commitment. Funny thing is, I always feel like he was committed. It's just that his output wasn't great. But his numbers, they're better than a lot of people who have not had anywhere near the level of scrutiny he's had. He's put up better numbers than Anthony since he's been in the league. Put up better numbers than Sancho.
I think it makes sense. Like you're saying with Saka, he will need a rest throughout the season. Even if it's a case of if let's say you're playing Luton at home and you're 3-0 up with half an hour to go.
Luton, man, you man, Lau Luton, bro.
You're 3-0 up with half an hour to go at Luton. You can take Saka off.
Yeah.
Bring on Pepe with half an hour to go.
Yeah.
He gets 30 minutes. Saka's got a rest.
Europa.
Yeah.
Pepe loved the Europa, but
We're Champions League now, though. We're Champions League now.
Yeah, true,
no,
true.
I don't want to see Pepe at Luton anywhere.
No, but
We've got other players. We've got Smith Rowe. We've got Nelson.
Smith Rowe can't play the role he plays.
Nelson can play on the right.
He's injured, no?
No, he's back.
He's back on the bench.
He's on the bench.
No, that was my only question. What was the point in giving Reece Nelson that new contract?
Yeah.
I hear it was chunky wages, and now you're asking Pepe to come back.
I would
Unless
bring Pepe
Nelson
in.
is not delivering in training. Maybe he's chilling now. He's got the new 4 or 5 year deal. I don't know, but it is an odd one. However, we can't deny that whilst Pepe, the price tag hung over his head massively, right? I think if Pepe was a 40 or 50 million pound player, he doesn't get judged the way he did. And whilst he could have been infuriating, his numbers were not abysmal. I mean, he scored 10, 11 goals a season. You can't sniff for that. So, a lot of teams will take that from from their wingers right now. A lot of teams
I just
will
feel
take that.
like we already moved on from him. So I'll be very surprised if there's a U-turn.
No, I understand that, but we've already spent a lot of money. We've got 2 weeks left for the window. I like the fact that they're looking at some pragmatic options. I don't think that's a bad thing. And just not being stubborn. So let's see. It could all be rubbish, but if you see Pepper on the bench against Fulham and he comes on and curls one in from edge of the box, then say nothing. But yeah, moving on then. I think there's a couple of things to touch on quickly. Firstly, Manchester United have announced today that Mason Greenwood will not continue his career at the club. There were 3 statements released today. One from the club, one from the CEO, and a very short one from Greenwood himself. Now, we're going to go into the details of what happened and what didn't happen, but I think a lot of the discourse around it has been around how Manchester United reached their decision. The fact that it looked like last week they were ready to bring him back into the fold. That leaked. The Athletic got an exclusive and leaked that. And within a week, we now have a decision that he's not going to continue. Are there any thoughts anyone's willing to...
Was that a leak? Because it kind of worded it was worded like
no,
it wasn't a leak.
So the Athletic were going to break it, and because there's like a process with the journalism thing, right? You got to give the people an opportunity to respond.
Yeah.
So you say, listen, I'm going to print this story. Have you got any comment? Manchester United saw that and then tried to get ahead of it.
They released a statement that
Hence
said
why
nothing.
you said like that. That was hastily put together.
I think Man United put that out there as a feeler. They
100%.
definitely would have briefed the press last week. put that out as
it was a litmus test.
You've got an exclusive.
No, well, the reason I don't agree is because the journalist who was putting out that thing in the Athletic, he did a whole thread on it, and he said that statement was put together really, really quickly after we've reached out and said this story is coming out. Do you have any comment? Someone within Man U has kind of leaked to him that that's where they're going, and they've told people this is the direction we're going. Let's prepare, blah blah blah. So he's saying generally in good faith, you reach out. Like if you had printed that story and not let them give a chance to respond, it's not conducive to good working relationship.
But that's come from United in the first place, though. That's what I'm saying. That's not by accident.
Based on what
you think that leak was planned?
Yeah.
But based on what the CEO was saying, he was saying that the option to integrate Mason back into the team was an option that we had to look at.
Yeah.
Me personally,
not just look at. They planned for it.
That's what he's saying.
Me personally, I don't think it should have even been a consideration, regardless of what happened with the court case, etc.
And then the internal investigation.
Like it was last year, January, it all came out. Like everyone's seen the video. I think for it to be recorded at that point and published, I don't think it was the first time it happened. Like it's very rare that someone gets in that position and they will start recording straight away.
Out the back.
But I think it's happened before, and that person had recorded to say this isn't the first time this has happened.
So I understand that. I guess I'm gonna stick with the facts here. So one thing the CEO said is is part of the investigation. There's two things. One, there's the criminal bit, but there's the bit they had to do as an employer and employee bit, right? They had to do the HR thing. And from when he's been found, he wasn't found not guilty. When the charges were dropped.
Yeah. And they were satisfied that he did not commit the acts that he was charged of.
That's what United.
No, wait, hold on. Before I even get to that bit, when those charges are dropped and it's not a CPS or criminal matter anymore, then the employer investigation kicks in. And they're in a slightly tricky position because if you fire him at that point, what are you firing him? Now, I can think of a couple of things, bringing the club into disrepute, all of that kind of good stuff.
There you go. That's enough.
Yeah, but
that alone is enough.
Well, we say that, but we're not employment lawyers.
We don't know the contract.
Come on, anyone with a decent job, you have not even anyone with a decent job, anyone with a job. We've seen it on Twitter. People get sacked because they do a madness, and then the people go to the people's company and say, "This is your employee," and they go, "Right, fired." Anyone with a job, right? I'm gonna stand on this and say, anyone with a job, will have in their contract something about disrepute or the reputation of the company that they work for.
And then he goes on to say, we spoke to both sides of the situation, right?
Yeah.
And he has seen the full video and had the full recording that none of us have heard.
Mm-hmm.
So those things are key. Those things are key for me.
100%.
For him to put that out, because again, even for him to make his own personal statement as a CEO
which
of
is
a large
wild
business,
to me.
Yeah, he had to though.
I think he had to.
I don't think he did.
Credibility wise,
he was getting a lot of criticism
the statement that United put out wasn't great,
and they made it clear that the decision was on him, not a joint board. No, the decision lay with him. So he's trying to, and it's not a normal business, right? You got, like you said, got fans, you got all of that.
Sponsors,
he has to
stakeholders.
He had to step out. So the only reason, so that's why I was telling that, because I think sometimes as we just have to have conversations where we realize we don't know everything. We've seen a view of things, and for him to come out and say, "I've seen this." Basically, what he's saying is, "I've seen this, you haven't seen it. I've seen this, you haven't seen this. I've talked to these people, you haven't talked to them. Hence why I've arrived where I have today and why it took so long." That's the only thing I was going to say. I have my personal view, but in this, just want to direct it.
And also as well, they haven't even terminated his contract, so it looks like he's most probably going to leave on loan. And let's say he does well on loan wherever he goes, they're going to try and sell him.
They haven't. I thought they mutually agreed.
No, he's still under contract.
Sorry, again, what they have said is they're going to find a way to do that. I personally think the first hurdle was agreeing legally or whatever it is. You're going to leave, right? We're not going to fire you because we can't. Because they would have explored.
Don't want an unlawful dismissal case.
They would have. That's my point earlier. They would have explored all of that early. There'd have been lots of expensive lawyers who have been doing lots of billable hours on this in the last 8 to 9 months. So I think they've come to that agreement, and then last week sped things up massively. And what that statement read to me is, we've both agreed he's going to leave. We just haven't figured out how yet. I'm not necessarily sure that they might loan him out. I don't think they're going to loan him out. I actually think they might have to figure out what
They may have to.
what money-wise termination looks like. I think that might be one of the options they have to look at. Because who's going to loan
They
him?
have to pay him off. Yeah, they have to.
Who's going to loan him?
Well, this is it.
You say that, I think he'll easily get a move abroad.
Abroad where?
France.
No.
Like, you say,
Look what happened. Look what's happening with Lorient at the moment.
Yeah.
They're protesting
Mendy.
against Mendy.
Sorry, Keith.
Yeah,
I said no and I didn't give you context. Sorry. The reason why I say no is because even with those guys, like, how can I forget Mendy? Mendy, he got found not guilty, fine. But we saw things, we heard things. He's getting problems. We've got the other player who's been charged with rape. I mean, he's still playing, which I don't think would happen here.
Wissam Ben Yedder.
Yeah. They're processing about that.
There was another one as well.
I think the big nuance with Greenwood's case is the recording and the video. I just can't see anyone in Italy, Spain, Germany, or France taking him on
I was
loan.
going to say France or
I think
or
someone will
Turkey.
take him.
You think so?
I think he'll get
Even
an
if
abroad,
it's not
but it won't
even
be
if
a
it's
big
not league,
Saudi?
Possibly, but it won't be a top, let's say 50, maybe possibly 100 club.
Okay,
Yeah.
understood. He's not gonna rock up at, I don't know, Dortmund or something.
No.
Yeah.
So
and
you
it's a
think-
shame. Like, it's I don't think necessarily the move might not even be this season. But I think maybe after the Euros, he might just under the radar.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
look, he'd appeared at XYZ on trial. Oh, it's worked out. Fine.
Well,
I don't think
I
necessarily this
disagree
season.
with that as well because look at the Ched Evans case, right? He was charged.
Yeah.
Didn't he go? I think he went to jail.
Found guilty, went to jail.
He was acquitted after.
He appealed. He was acquitted.
Yeah.
And then look how long it took for him. All right, he eventually got back in the game, but
No,
look
but
how
he got
long.
a club like a week after he came out.
And then look what happened.
No, I agree.
He
I
went to
agree.
Sheffield United.
But
He
my
went
point
to
is,
Sheffield United.
clubs
Jess Ennis.
always.
Yeah, but he went to Sheffield United. Jess Ennis threatened to remove her name.
She did.
And then they let him go. He
Yeah.
went to another club.
Yeah.
Same thing. Backlash. Shake all the pressure.
That's the thing.
He got let go. He
he's
had
gonna
to
stay
go
with him.
real low league in order to come back up.
Like, for me, as much as I'm a stickler for, like, my thing is always this with these things here. I don't know what it's like to be CEO of a business that large and deal with all those things.
Yeah,
But from the
of course.
beginning, early on, I've said he can't stay. Like, he just can't.
That for
He just
me,
can't.
And the reason why, because I was
But
on
that's
Twitter,
easy for me to say that.
and I said on Twitter, I think it was poorly handled. And the reason why I said it was poorly handled, right, is because, all right, cool. They could only do, like you said, to your point, I totally understand that. Being one of the biggest clubs in the world and having to deal with something like this, dealing with all the nuances, like we can't just let him go because it's not just straightforward.
I thought they could have done it
can't-
quicker.
We can't just appease the fans because then we've got to deal with Mason Greenwood and the legalities around that, right?
And the family of the
And the exactly.
victims
So
as well.
I understand. It's one of those. It's very complex,
Yeah.
right?
Sorry, just to add to your point as well. I think also the fact that allegedly they're together, they've had a child.
Yes, this
They're
is
still
it. And
like
it's
it's techie, yeah.
it's just it's very techie. And yes, cool. They can only do what they can do within the circumstances. I just think with the leak, whether it was a leak or whether it was intentional, I don't think a temp check or even possible talk or consideration of reintegration for a club as big as Man United, that should have never been considered.
No, I actually
I
think
disagree.
that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, no, but
that's
I'm just saying it should have
But
never been
I think
considered.
that's what they wanted to do, but they put a little feeler out there and they saw the backlash and thought we can't do it.
Yeah, that's
And
what.
we can't, that's what I believe. Even in his statement, he said we explored that option. That's telling me you wanted to do that.
And if they had, it's kind of like giving a green light for domestic abuse and there being no ramifications.
And
of
that's
it.
why I said it was
And that's
poorly
just-
handled.
It's something that shouldn't happen in any walk of life. Like,
Yeah,
that's the way
I
see it.
thought I could have dealt with it quicker, but he said something in his statement I was telling. The Manchester United players that were at the World Cup, they had to be part of the process as well. And he didn't want to do that until that had ended.
Yeah.
But I agree with Isaac. I think it could have been done. I think it could have been done quicker. I don't know everything. Because I think it could have been dealt with before the start of the World Cup. Because the no further action or whatever you want to call it happened in Feb.
February. Yeah, it's a long
Right.
time ago.
So between that and the World Cup starting, you had 4 months or so. These things take time. There's both all the limitations, but I do think it could have been dealt with quicker. And I just couldn't see any way, shape, or form. And as much as football fans are fickle, if he had come back, bang 10 in 10, all screamers, there is a section of football fans that would have just not let it go, but the tide would have been turning.
Yeah.
That's not an excuse. I couldn't see.
The time we're living in, the PC era, it's not possible. There's no way they could have.
Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but nothing surprises me in football. I'll be honest. If he came back and played well, you get a lot of leeway because your talent, etc. So yeah, well, it's I guess it's done now, and it'll be interesting to see how the wider sport then handled, because he talks about continuing his career elsewhere from Old Trafford. It'll be interesting to see how the wider sport.
It was quite certain.
In
that statement.
It'll be interesting to see how the wider sport then facilitates that. One thing we didn't mention is somewhere like Turkey, possibly turning up in Turkey.
I said that. Yeah,
you said Turkey. Yeah, fairly removed from here. Still play Champions League.
Saudi.
I still think he's got a step before he has to go there, which says a lot about the fact that his talent gets you a lot more chances when it shouldn't. It seems to be. Okay, cool. And then lastly, very quickly, Mr. Toney and his interview today.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I watched the interview.
I don't think it helped him.
I don't think it helped him at all. There wasn't that much in it. It wasn't a great interview.
Ignorance is not a justifiable excuse. I'm sorry.
I think he made some good points around consistency and stuff, but some of this, I didn't know you couldn't bet. It's a great area. Mate, we've seen Joey.
They never told me I couldn't bet. They just told me what experience they had. That's not good enough.
Yeah, but we've seen how many players get done for betting.
Come on.
Sturridge, Barton. There's probably even players Trippier. There's even players we don't even know about that. They would have heard about it in the game. He just didn't make the news. I just don't think he's helped himself. I'd be interested to see I'd love to know if Brentford had seen that recording before it went out. I think he said some stuff that Brentford may not be happy with entirely. Okay. Talking very freely about moving to other clubs, the clubs he likes. It was a really weird interview. Man.
He probably would have got permission from them for the interview, innit? But I don't know if they probably wouldn't have seen it before.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to watch it?
I've watched some of it. I've seen the quotes about Liverpool and Arsenal that he was saying. I was very surprised to see that. I
mean, those clips were taken. I don't know. You saw most of it. I don't know. It was taken a little bit out of context.
Which
the Arsenal one. The way they cut it together, it seemed like he was just basically saying, "I want to go to Arsenal," but that's not how the convo went.
I mean, Stephen asked him about potential career progression and where you see your career going, and then throughout kind of like leading I know you're a Liverpool fan,
exactly.
Who else? And then he was just like, I'm a Liverpool fan, but when I was growing up, pretty much like most black men,
I like the way Arsenal play.
So those are the kind of clubs I look at.
I would have preferred if the conversation led with the betting thing, and then it kind of like they kind of glossed over his career, how he got to where he is, and it was like, okay, what about the betting now? Well, I think
that's content 101 though. If I give you all of that at the beginning, average watching time goes up by 10 minutes.
Yeah, I get it. Bartlett knows what he's doing. I can understand. But I think if it was just an hour around the whole betting thing and his answers were a little bit, well, I don't want to say rehearsed, but he was just like, I didn't make it public because I didn't want my mum to know I was betting.
Oh, yeah, get out.
And things like that. I was like...
Not even that, no. Said he was using someone else to bet because he didn't want his parents to come home.
Yeah.
And then Stephen Bartlett said to him, you're 27. You're 27. Why is your mum in your post? Oh, no, when I was away, I was away. It just felt like he wanted to get his side of the story out there, and Stephen Bartlett was a safer version of Piers Morgan.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what it felt like. I'm going to do a bit of a rollout. And I don't think it's helped him in any way. I don't think it's helped anyone see his side of the story. And actually, Key, to your point, I think they need to talk more about does it even matter at this point? Well, to him it matters, and I can understand why. If you feel like, the media telling your story for you, you might want to get that out. But even the betting addiction bit, they didn't really talk about.
Yeah, they glossed over it. And I think it would have helped other people who may be in that situation, and even non-professionals. Because like he was saying that he could bet, but he knew he was getting paid in a week's time to cover it, where there's people out there who are betting
and their kids
and they're not getting that money to the level.
And I think Bartlett, whilst not his biggest fan as an interviewer, he did try. He tried to say, what about your mental health? Well, I'm not a big...
What did he say? The actual punishment? Did he say anything about? Does he feel that the punishment was wrong, or Does he feel slighted in any way?
It was a bit of a mixed message.
Yeah.
He felt like it was excessive compared to other people who had done it, especially those in the lower leagues.
Yeah.
But you're in a high-profile league, you're in the Prem.
Yeah.
They were going to hit you harder. But I think that's one of the fairer points he made. That actually, if you look at some of the other things that people did, I remember saying to people, he's going to get hit with a book. They were telling me, well, no, look at this person. He did so many bets and only got so long. And I was like, I just had a feeling they were taking so long that they were going to hit him with everything they could. And they were going to give him a 12-month ban. And then the commission said no, they wanted to give him a 15-month ban.
Wow.
But because he pled guilty and the gambling addiction diagnosis, they reduced it.
Yeah, his main gripe was though the time from when it got
Leaked.
announced or leaked, so to speak, to the time they made the decision.
Yes.
He said that process
was a long time.
He said it was interesting and that was around the time the World Cup squad was being picked. So everyone finds out about it. That
So
you
then
don't do anything until the end of the season.
He couldn't get in the squad.
So I think he made some salient points there, but that interview would have been more useful if they had actually touched on, I don't want to say the meaningful things, but the underlying factors, as you said, the gambling, the gambling addiction,
how it
some of the message, how often were you betting? What kind of things were you doing? Why were you betting? I don't think they delved deep enough. He tried to ask, but
a couple of times he kind of small signals to move on.
But Tony wasn't.
To be
the
fair,
most,
he's not. He didn't seem quite open in it. Like even though he wanted to have a conversation, it was like a conversation on my terms. Kind of thing.
Exactly.
Where it needed to be. I feel it needed to be quite raw. It might be too soon for him. It might happen in the future, but it still, it wasn't raw enough in terms of the whole.
And there was a little bit of
thing.
There was a little bit of I got to go back to work in a month's time, innit? Because he could train from September.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of that as well.
I like his confidence though, because he's like, I'm coming back and shelling.
Yeah.
I like
but
that.
you can see that in him as a player on the
he gets
pitch.
back in the
But
team.
he's always spoken
No,
like
but
that.
the way he's thinking, he's thinking, I'm getting Euros. Like he's not even training yet, and he's which I liked.
He's any interview I've seen with him, he's always spoken like that. Right?
Yeah.
Ultimate belief in his ability.
Yeah.
Well, he even says in that playoff final, that penalty, everyone's like, oh, the pressure, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I said, no, I was scoring that penalty. I knew I was scoring that penalty. And I respect that level of confidence. But yeah, as an interview, in terms of digging into the issues, maybe understanding some motivations or seeing some contrition for himself, etc., it just didn't really hit the spot. He raised a couple of good points, but I agree with Isaac. I think it's done more harm than good, if you ask me. But then if he's back playing and Brentford don't say anything, then what harm has it done at all?
Doesn't matter. No.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. All right.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks everybody. Remember, follow, comment, subscribe.
Can I just say something quickly?
Yeah, go on. You got that mischievous look at your phone.
I can see it.
Listen, I know you have things to say and you might not agree with some of the things we say, but let's tone it down with the disrespect in the comments. It's all love.
Can I just say
it's all love. We're just talking about the game that we love the same way you are.
Can I just say, bro, in the history of content, that has never worked.
It's
And
never
now it's going to
worked.
get worse. So,
No, keep it spicy, man. I like it. It's
You
something
like
to-
it?
Yeah, man.
yeah. But say what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right,
So
fair
you're
enough.
saying-
I just
We want it uncut and
it's
raw.
the community. I
No,
just
I
want the
agree.
community. I want
But-
the community to grow and be loving and
Unfortunately,
peaceful.
there are
But that's
people
never
out there
the case.
that have no social training.
Yeah.
And also to the gentleman that said he could name 20 better players than Mahrez, you named 7. I'm still waiting for the other 30. See you all next week.
Peace.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah.